Welcome to Skyton Academy, where knowledge meets opportunity, including our next pillar, trading. Dive into the world of trading with our comprehensive courses and masterclasses. Our flagship course, Futures 101 and Technical Analysis, equips you with the skills and insights needed for successful trading. Plus, exclusive future calls are included. Stay tuned for upcoming courses on Forex trading, stock option trading, and much more. Enroll today and unlock the door to endless trading opportunities. Skyton Academy, shaping futures. What's going on, ladies and gents? Today, we are back at you guys again with another incredible Dot Connect Wednesdays. This is episode 58 to be exact. You know what I mean? So hoorah to Skyton Academy for all the consistency and delivering. But this one is a little extra special because I'm joined by my brother, Raymond Fuentes, excuse me.
Listen, it's all good, champ.
This is my guy right here. If y'all know it, I know there's some people here that this is maybe their first encounter with him. They may have never, met him, never seen him, never heard of him. Listen, his reputation precedes him. He's been putting in extraordinary work in the crypto community as a whole, definitely in the XRP community. And he's got some gems. He's got some insights. He had some big transitions that happened in the close past, right? So we're going to highlight all of these things. So I want to, welcome you to the call. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Oh, champ, it's great to be back. Definitely wearing different colors, but still the stoke is high. And so is the market right now, which is great. And I have faith, man, that not only the market will, do favorable for those of us that are have positioned ourselves in a way that's more inclined to these new emerging technologies, but then I have faith in, myself for going out on this whim that we'll talk more about. And, it's liberating. Actually, I'll dive right in because if you don't mind, I've had this conversation actually 2 or 3 times in the past couple of days, twice on live stream recently on my YouTube channel. But what it was talking about, or what we were talking about, was just passion, man, or being on the pursuit of passion. I feel like because, and don't get me wrong, when I was at Link2, man, I still am passionate about the company. I'm a shareholder myself, right? And I'm rooting them on into the public markets as they've already announced a reverse SPAC merger. If you want to learn more about that, you can go and check out with the SEC, look at the filing on Edgar, and see those announcements on Link2's S1. But regardless, though, which we didn't talk about much right before this call, champ, and I'm happy if you want to pivot and go somewhere else first. I can just tell you about, a little bit about Link2 and then why I've decided to go on my own path. But let's first talk about how I even got to Link2 as well, because that's just as equally important, or if not the most important thing, because I found Link2 on my own once I started doing this, and this ties into the pursuit of passion. Why I started or why investing became a passion of mine. I sold business insurance before getting into this investment arena. And that was something that I was fortunate to get fortunate to get into. I became a broker, had a proud book of business, serviced companies for their liability and workers' compensation. But when COVID came around, our company was displaced, which we were forced to work. We're forced to work at our homes, and we were very dependent at working at the office. And so we were dependent on fax machines. We were dependent on, it's such a trip. It was just so like a step in the past, but because I was the youngest broker there at the agency. I was 24 when I joined, and, the oldest guy was in his 80s. And so there's just like, just a complete broad spectrum of experience and ideologies and a lot of things. But regardless, though, that's kind of why I relate to the boomer classes, because I worked with them for the past decade. And so, when COVID came around, and that's when people started adopting more of these Zoom type technologies and having these virtual type settings, experiences. And so for me, it's like, all right, so I started using this Zoom, started using DocuSign more heavily than not during my those late stages of my career at the firm, using Calendly. So I'm like, man, I'm so dependent on all these like technology little plugins that completely revolutionize a lot of things that would just drag out the whole business process and transaction process. And so and here, I'm investing into digital assets, and it's like if the agency itself is so dependent on all these little on fax machines, and I'm already dipping my toes into the 21st century. I think, like I told my dad, and it was such a tough conversation. I said, because I worked at the same agency he did, and I said, hey, Pops, this sucks to say, but I'm going to move and I'm going to leave this agency. And it was really, really tough. I cried because, I'm a baby. And plus, I have an adopted sister who doesn't even know her parents. And so for me, having the ability to say that I got to not only work with my pops, but have lunch with him on a regular basis and just get to know him on another level, that meant a lot to me, or means a lot to me. And so, it takes kind of like a very contrasting, maybe, it just, it, I was 18 when my parents adopted this 1-year-old. And so it just maybe took that life experience to really just say, wow, look at all this I have. And it's good. And it's sad to say that it took, unfortunately, the circumstance of in somebody who had nothing, but sometimes it just takes a slap in the face for those, have those realizations.
Yeah.
But regardless, left that firm, went to an insurtech firm. Actually, it was under the Founders Fund umbrella. If you're familiar who Founders Fund is, that's a Peter Thiel entity, PayPal Mafia. So I started applying the same investment thesis that I had of like following the money to my own employment strategy. And I landed at that firm, did well, quoted Link2's insurance. They got to see not only, I quoted their insurance because I developed such a significant investment portfolio that I had direct access to the C-suite team. That was part of the benefits of being a Team Apollo member, one of their top investors on the platform. Because when let me take a step back. When COVID hit, there was the COVID 2020 CARE Act, 2021 CARE Act, where you could liquidate, a portion of your 401k. And I did that after doing my homework and experimenting with other investment vehicles. I took some of that liquidity, rolled it into XRP and other digital assets, not investment advice. I had experimented with enough digital assets to get to this investment thesis. Uh, so, but anyways, I put that in XRP. This was right after the lawsuit dropped, so it was there was a significant pullback in the market, a lot of blood in the streets, and I took advantage of that opportunity and 10x that investment rather quickly. But also, as quick as it 10x, it also retraced back to about a 5x, and I was just like, damn. But I said, you know what? There's got to be more than just watching this stuff go up and down. And and so for me, it was like I ended up seeing, what partnerships were out in the industry. That's how I came to find about Link2, was because I was using Uphold as an exchange. And I was listening to DAI, Brad Kimes, many of these influencers, and I was like, okay, they're talking so much about XRP. I'm a believer. I mean, what else? Who are their sponsors? I mean, who's keeping these guys alive? What's going on here? And sure enough, that's where I came to know Link2. If I checked out their website, link2.com, and I'm like, oh, these guys sell Ripple. Oh, oh, wow. And so then I started connecting the dots that there was there, as far as if they're selling Ripple equity. There's an inroad or a backend integration from Uphold where you can fund your account using cryptocurrency held in your Uphold wallet and buy private equity. I mean, that's a first of its kind. That's a revolutionary payment rail into the most regulated asset class in the world. And so for me, that was a game changer, because now you don't need to leave this ecosystem essentially to pull your money out of this firm to then put it into another one and then wait, however many days for those funds to hit your account. And so meanwhile, I was able to just go, move that liquidity instantaneously from one firm basically to the next through these new rails. Uh, and so I thought that was beautiful. And I'm like, dang. So not only did I use Link to invest in Ripple, I used my XRP to invest in Link because I'm like, I look at the utility of the infrastructure that they're providing. If they're able to get me into, Kraken, if they were able to get me into Uphold themselves, then why not invest in the infrastructure? And so that's what I did. And I think, Link2 saw that I was really trying to build a diversified portfolio as well, and kind of like applying the thesis where it's like, in a 401k, you kind of tap into various verticals across the investment arena. You get some in energy, you get some in other sectors, technology. And me, I wanted to tap into and diversify across multiple sectors, because on Link2's platform, you can invest in AI, you can invest in space, you can invest in blockchain, you can invest in food tech, you can invest in 3D printing. And so for me, it was like, you know what, why not dabble in a lot of these various sectors, because some of these companies have some promising patents, IP, and that I think is revolutionizing and transforming their respective sectors. And so that was what I did. That's how I found Link2, kind of sharing you like how my investment thesis also applied into this overall experience, because it's all relative. And so on this pursuit of passion, I meet wonderful people like you guys on this call, the champ, and who give me the opportunity to I'll just share my experience, because I'm just a normal dude. And that's really what I've been doing. So anyways, we got to this point where Link2 is now at this late stage in its business cycle where they're going public. Well, I've never been through that experience, and I'm not trying to discredit myself, but I want Link2 to win. And I know that they have a really great team right now. The gentleman that's working their brand, Jack O, is formerly the marketing CMO of Adidas and other large firms. They have the CMO of Link2 currently is a higher up from Meta. And that's not where the puck doesn't stop there. I mean, the CEO is highly decorated, Wharton grad, pedigree, at the on the board or at the helm of other really great firms. The former CEO, Bill Saris, he was an executive at what is the company, that parent company of TurboTax? Uh,
That I'm not familiar with.
I forget the parent company of TurboTax, but whatever. These are highly decorated engineers that basically build up their career. And once you get, kind of like a lawyer, when you get to a certain stage, you're like, hey, I've gone through the ranks. I want to start my own law firm. And that's what they do. They apply that philosophy or intention to like going up the ranks, learning as much as they can under probably a senior developer, and then spin off their own platform, see what they can create from that platform, or what that platform can disrupt. And so, I think Link2, being the fact that they were actually founded, earlier on than the platform was actually launched in 2021. If you were to go on their Wikipedia page, you can look back on their historical or timeline, and see that they were a company that was developing very disruptive platforms or technologies for credit unions and other financial institutions. So they're already working with large financial firms, and so I think just kind of seeing that. I think what I've been learning more of late is just how the relationships define kind of where, not define where the industry is going, but it helps, get you. It's like we all have heard this before. It's not what you know, it's who you know. And so that same stuff applies, man. And especially when in this investment arena, the VC arena, a lot of these money moves, well, they're underpinned by relationships. And so that is kind of the name of the game as well. And if you were to go on to Link2's platform, and I'm not here to sell Link2, but it's just very interesting. You can just see all these companies, and you're like, man, how did they get SpaceX on this platform? How did they get on the cap table? And so I don't know. I mean, just because they've got world-class relationships and they are very talented leaders, and I'm fortunate to call them mentors, friends, and former colleagues. And so I'm no longer an employee, but as mentioned, I'm a shareholder, watching them go, trot into the public domain. And I am still supporting them in roundabout capacities. And so, now fast forward to today, I'm on my own. I'm rocking my own brand, RF.
Let's go.
Just for my initials, Ray Fuentes. All I'm doing is just applying the same skill sets I've developed ever since let's go back to I was a young kid. It's just tapping into me developing a brand around myself, leveraging these technologies, and hey, we're going into this world of tokenization. I believe you are going into this domain of tokenizing real world assets,
Mhm.
stocks, bonds, private equity, real estate.
Real
But
estate.
what about even art or the content which we create? Where a buddy just shared a link with me. I'll see if I can push it to this chat here through my phone. But where I'm getting at is we're getting into a place, obviously where AI is going to become more prominent and people are using it to create, whatever, to create images, documents, contracts, videos. And now you're able to impersonate others or do some really incredible things even with a voice. And so, man, I get hit up all the time by very talented hackers. Fortunately, it's just, I've been doing this for a while where I don't really answer my phone or do
Yeah,
anything like that, or you have another one.
absolutely.
And and so that's just you hear that, hackers, I have multiple phones now. I'm just kidding. But regardless though, because of AI and these things, you need to be able to validate where this content is coming from these days. How is it being created? And they're able to bake that stuff into the metadata of this content and validate that, hey, this is coming from Ray. This really was created by Ray. Or Champ, this recording is coming through Skyton Academy. And anyways, where I'm getting at is, what if we can tokenize also our content we create, turn it into NFTs, allow people to fractionally own some of it by being sponsors, or maybe they just want to, since, hey, you know what, I'm in this production today, I'm gonna pay the auction cost or whatever the floor is, and I want a piece of this. I want to have a little token of it in my wallet or on my digital shelf on my pedestal. And
Right.
so, but that's basically, in a nutshell, what I've been doing is now launching my own brand. I'm out in the field constantly doing what I like to do, which is throwing my microphone in people's face and just obviously running my mouth, because that's what I'm really good at. I don't think you guys said one word so far, but
Listen, we didn't. We didn't, but it's good. This is great. So
yeah,
I want to add a little bit of structure to this. So
please.
yes, Ray came in guns blazing. This is Ray. Ray is a ball of energy, but his brilliance is in his ability to control a room, control a crowd, no matter where he's at. So I've personally been following Ray for quite some time, many years now, right?
Awesome.
And he was the former community director for Link2.
Yeah.
And what he just basically laid out to you all was one, his pursuit of passion. He gave you
Mhm.
past, present, and future, what he's currently doing. And he highlighted his brand, which is Ray Fuentes. He's wearing the shirt now. Go ahead and show him the logo. Shameless plug.
Yeah,
So
you know what? It's still there's still much to work on, but yeah, thank you.
yeah, no, but this is the great part. So he was very pivotal at Link2, right? And I always noticed he was front and center at every event that was pivotal for the XRP community, for the crypto community. And he was one, interviewing top dogs. He just wasn't randomly just finding someone in the crowd and just asking them questions. He may have done that during his tenure, but he was pivotal. I'm talking about people from high level execs at Ripple. He's all over the place. I'm talking
Can
about
I?
all your
Can,
great
can,
community influencers,
yeah.
and he was basically getting intel that a lot of people couldn't get, right? And he was getting it in real time, providing it to everybody. So what I wanted to highlight today outside of we're gonna kind of cut back some of these onion layers, right? We're gonna figure out one, the guys he's been interviewing lately, he's got some intel. He's sitting on some important information that we're gonna try to uncover today. You know what I mean? This is what we're gonna
Oh
do.
man.
So so listen, before you go any further, Link 2 is a platform that is for unicorns, right? You're able to find
Yeah.
early investments, and it's a platform that offers these things to the average person who may have never been able to even have the opportunity, right? So we're gonna
Yeah.
drop the link for you guys. We'll have it. Like he said, he's not with the company anymore. This is not just to highlight Link to, but he
No.
does assist and he still partners with them on various things. What we want to
Yeah.
do is make sure we're giving the opportunity to everyone, letting you guys know that you guys have access to private investments through Link to, and we have the opportunity for you. So I'm going to drop the link here, and it'll be in the description on the playback video.
Yeah, I hope you guys can see my screen. I'm sharing their website, link2.com. I'm doing this because I wanted to just highlight the aggressive growth that they've experienced since launching the platform in 2021. And you can see that they've scaled up to 81 companies, or 81 portfolio companies. That's 81 different companies they've invested in that you could potentially participate in for a minimum of $5,000. Uh, they've had a total of 438 million in total member investments, and that's very impressive with the million registered users. So fun, interesting growth or impressive growth for the company. And there's some really, really great things. I'd love to keep talking about them, but I know that you guys we're only on here for an hour, and I'm sure we'll dive into other questions. But if you got
Yeah.
any questions about Link 2, feel free to put them in the chat or shoot me an email at contact@rayfuentes.io, and I'll forward you to the appropriate person or my contact at Link 2, and go from there. Or you can just contact Link 2 directly if you have any questions. That's info@link2.com. Either or, happy to get you to where you need to go, and or help you on your journey, because I've been through it right alongside you champ, and I appreciate you giving me credit, but man, you're the one who's got a community here. That's really a beautiful thing as well. And so kudos to you, and thank you for inviting me here tonight. uh Now I've been do you want me to continue sharing anything more from Link 2, or any
Nah,
portfolio
we're
companies?
gonna move past Link 2 because you
Okay.
got a lot of
Okay.
you got a lot of skin in the game lately, and I want to get to.
Yeah, let's do that. Let's talk about, I appreciate you noticing that I've been sitting front and center, because that's actually something I see an importance, and I find value in being in the very front row and being able to sit front and center, not just from a production perspective and getting that great view, but it's no less distractions, getting that alpha, and maybe people notice me up front. I'm not saying I'm doing it for the eyeballs, but I think, I don't think it hurts. And
Absolutely.
I remember the very first Bitcoin conference that I went to. I was wearing Link2's colors. It was 2022. I think it was March of 2022. It was like one of the yeah. That's typically when they do one of those BTC conferences. But or maybe it was July. Regardless, though, it was in 2022. I was very green, and I wanted to capture, like, I think who was speaking on the panel. One of the panels was the CEO of uh, uh, Varo, not Varo Bank. It'll come to me, but regardless, though, there was somebody that I wanted to record. He was a CEO of a Link2 portfolio company, up on stage at the Bitcoin conference, and I just sat up front on the ground, no seat, just Indian leg cross with my next to my tripod, and just following these guys. And I use my cell phone for recording, so I don't have any great gear. I have an iPhone 15, so that anybody can do what I'm doing. And that's like what I'm not a magician or trying to hide any secrets. I want everybody to be able to, everybody should have a microphone. Everybody should activate themselves, use their cell phones. And because it's going to take these types of efforts and participation to really, expedite some of these processes or things that we're really fighting for. That's what I'm doing here today, and that was why I basically went to link to. It's like, hey, or decided to apply to link to in the first place was, if I'm going to be investing into this space, I want to fight for my investments as well. And that was really one of the driving factors of why I went down this in this pursuit of passion as well. Was, hey, if I love investing, I want to fight for what I believe in, fight for this lifestyle. I enjoy it, and fight for these new relationships that I'm making, or the opportunity to do so, because that's been one of the most rewarding things, was just the people that I've made connections with, like we're about to talk about, the opportunities to get those interviews, or to be in some of these rooms. And so, and I'm very thankful for, I've had the opportunity to, brush elbows with Brad Garlinghouse multiple times, interview executives now at Ripple or that have left, or work alongside some of those Ripplers that worked at Link2. Matt Rosenden, who is no longer at Link2, but was a developer on the XRPL, doing some really interesting things. He's also now onto developing his own platform called, I think, it's CapServe. I'm the name is drawing a blank, but regardless, so back to my original stories, those developers, they end up going, and once they've learned enough, they go and develop their own. And I think he's on that same trajectory. Yeah, but ultimately, I recommend. He also created man, I'm drawing a blank though, because a lot of this would happen back in 2018, 2019, and some of these companies just aren't around anymore.
Yeah.
So it doesn't do really a service, but it's also great to know some of these companies that were developed in order to know where we're going. But regardless, back to tokenization, I had the opportunity to interview Sanjeev Barari actually last week. He is the CEO of Zonix. They're a partner of Ripple. They're check out the live stream. It's under the live tab on my YouTube page. There, he talks about, or Sanjeev talks about, just the opportunity, or the market size that they're eyeing or aiming for, and we're talking about $30 trillion market cap that these guys are aiming to tokenize. Maybe debt, maybe assets. Either way, they're aiming to tokenize or be that vehicle in the Ripple ecosystem for tokenizing real world assets. And so, they just came out with an announcement today. I can look for it, but regardless, every week there's just a major announcement coming out, either from Ripple, one of its companies that it's invested in, or another market participant in general, Circle, who's also has already filed their confidential S1, which is not listed on Edgar by the SEC. But regardless, I think they've obviously got the market for the stablecoin market, and especially if there's some type of drawdown by Tether or some type of occurrence, who knows? They just printed out another billion, I think, last week. So that's potentially what's also driving the market.
Absolutely.
Maybe can't rule that out. But you did hear what's his face, JD Vance, or who Donald Trump just picked as his VP, who's a Bitcoin maxi. I thought somebody said he had a couple 100,000 Bitcoin. I was like, dang, but no, he's only got about 390,000 worth of Bitcoin. So that's what let's just ballpark it. What are we, six Bitcoin?
Yeah. Yeah.
And so, but regardless though, he is, yeah, it's really interesting to see what this market is going to develop like now that it's pro crypto. But I mean, I'm sure we're not here to talk about politics, but I think there's going to be some significant occurrences. I mean, we just saw over the weekend somebody try to kill a former president. So, I mean, if that's on the table here, then who knows what can happen to the marketplace, and in the traditional space, and in this new and emerging, because it's all relative. And if anything, what I think in all this is, and hopefully this doesn't leave this room, but I think that they say about bringing on the unbanked, or the bringing on the unbanked into these systems. Well, shit, man, excuse my language, but if I wasn't investing and putting my money into the space, 10 years ago, then consider me unbanked as well. But even though that I'm not on in a third world country, or at least I thought I wasn't, with these with these new and emerging payment rails or opportunities. And so I think that Bitcoin, a lot of people thought there was this narrative that Bitcoin was an anonymous, you can make anonymous transactions, or it was a private network. But I think ultimately we all knew that was not the case when they were able to bring down the Silk Road network, or that operation where you buy drugs using Bitcoin.
Right.
But I think that narrative was a guise to potentially allow those that might be working for three-letter agencies or beyond to see what kind of bad actors are in the world, and what they would be inclined to do if they thought that they weren't able to be tracked. So I just looked at as, hey, if this stuff is really here to change the game, then that 40-minute hour long lag time when you send one Bitcoin from one wallet to the next, that's not going to do it. And so that's not a scalable solution, especially when Visa, MasterCard, and these businesses are processing millions of transactions, what, a second.
Per
And
second.
so, yes, exactly. And so, but I heard XRP can process trillions now. Is that confirmed? I need to see more data points on that, but who knows? I'm not saying, well, people think that we're moving into a multipolar world, multi-blockchain. Yeah, maybe that's going to be the truth. That'll be the truth. There'll be specific chains to provide specific utility functions, just like how there's a protocol for sending an email, there's a protocol for sending a text message, there's a protocol for HTTP. There's going to be protocols for banks moving value in money or data. And so I think the XRPL will be one of those ledgers that touches potentially the settlement for all the final settlement layer,
Mhm.
so which would be all the money. But there will be other protocols that provide other services that would bolster or streamline or provide resources for a specific jurisdiction on a specific part of the world that's out of the jurisdiction of another. So again, maybe RLUSD and USDC are the only stable coins according to MICA that service the US, but then potentially there's other stable coins. Tether still will play a role outside of that, in which so I don't think they're going anywhere, but they're going to lose market share because there's going to be new laws of the land, per se. And
Yeah.
so I'm full transparency. I'm an investor in Circle thanks to Link2's platform. But again, I'm an investor. I'm buying SPVs on their platform, so I'm not a shareholder yet. You got to be very specific, because I feel like even some of Link2's top investors sometimes I'm hearing don't even recognize that they have SPVs. They're special purpose vehicles. It's essentially a bankruptcy remote LLC or entity that's separate from Link2 that owns or represents the underlying asset. So when you're buying that SPV, which think of it almost like a smart contract, those in that smart contract is rules. You get special privileges or you lose special privileges because you're not technically buying a share, so you don't have all the rights that a common shareholder has. So, but with Link2, with those SPVs, you do get the economical upside potential, and that's what I thought we're here for, which is, as much I'd like to the voting rights or governance rights, or dividends too. There's I'm just thankful to get an opportunity to invest right alongside some of these institutional investors, to
Yeah.
be able to invest in Ripple, because the cap minimum to get on their cap table, one, requires a relationship, and two, a minimum dollar value, which is in the millions. And I don't got that, not yet. And so there's you gotta pick and choose your battles here. And I'm not saying they're really battles, but it's just, some people might well, why don't you just go to the secondaries market directly? Well, I don't, again, have 6 figures to invest or deploy just into one entity. I
Right.
want to deploy 6 figures into 20. I mean, but that's maybe that, I'm not saying that's what I did. Maybe I did, but
Alleged.
but yeah, but regardless, though, this is an investment advice, and don't learn from me, because I'm, you know, after the fact, it's like, why didn't I just, if I believe so much, why didn't I just put it all in Ripple, or Ripple, Uphold, and then a few others? But at the end of the day, I wanted a little zip line. I wanted a little, so it's, I wanted to just do what I wanted to do. I want to diversify and gain exposure. And if a narrative or a tech or the fundamentals called to me, then that was my investment thesis. I mean, you're essentially defaulting to the fundamentals and valuing those. Uh, but hey, sometimes you just want to brag a little,
Yeah.
and that could be part of it as well. But regardless, though, it's investing. You can lose, and so I I go into this with the understanding that I'm investing with capital that I'm ready to lose, and so ultimately that should be, nothing's for sure a win. And so uh, I think people just, I know it's easy to say that, and until you lose or you have one of those experiences, but at the end of the day, it's still just that. And so,
Yeah.
and if you know what you're investing in, which I read those terms of link to, once you invest, or even beforehand, you can see the terms and conditions, and you get this beautiful little digital certificate of the SPV that you own. It's I think it's a stepping stone before we see those digital securities or those tokenized securities, and that's where I think is just a stepping stone. And so Link 2 is pioneering some really great things that are very leading into a new world, or a new era of investing, or a new era of finance. And so again, they also probably have to pick and choose their battles in order to be able to accomplish what they need to do. Okay, we'll do this in phase one, or we need to wait for specific um, regulations themselves. So we'll see what occurs.
What
Yeah.
comes about? Yeah. Nah.
Yeah, I think everybody's waiting on regulations. So
Yeah.
yeah,
You kind of, you laid out a lot, right? So there's a lot to unpack. I'm not going to kind of go into every single thing, but there were
sure.
certain things that kind of jumped out. So on the last Dot Connect, we spoke about Mika, its effects on Tether and the stablecoin market. So
Yeah,
Mika regulations, for anybody who's here who doesn't know, Mika is all about safeguarding investors and the cryptocurrency market as a whole for digital
yeah,
assets, right? And it focuses on stablecoins. The
yeah,
reason it focuses on stablecoins is because once you have regulation on stablecoins, it sets the tone for everything else on top of it, right? You need to be able to
yeah,
have something of value, something transparent, something that moves effectively and efficiently that I can utilize as a means of payment,
yeah,
essentially, right? To get into these markets. They just want to ensure everybody's safe. Now, with that, he touched on one thing that I wanted to highlight. I told you guys last week. So Ray, just so you know, I shared something with everybody about Mika, and I told them
yeah,
that Tether, right? Tether is what props up Bitcoin. I've explained this relationship a million times, so they're pretty much
yeah.
familiar. Um, and just last week there was another billion that was printed, right? It
Mm,
was it was minted. Once that billion was minted, we were in a free fall already.
mm,
We had Mount Gox repayment that
mm,
happened. We also had Germany sell off all their Bitcoin holdings.
mm.
So once they completed the sell off, Bitcoin had dropped substantially. That billion hit, here we are. The market is all green. Everything is back up, right? So there's a lesson, there's a gem in this, right, that I want to give everybody. First and foremost, you guys understand when there's blood in the streets, you buy the dip, even if the blood is your own. This is not financial advice. This is just words of wisdom from somebody you've heard before, right? So, with that being said, I'm doing this interview with Ray right now, but Ray just did an interview yesterday with a whale, and a whale shared some insight, and they were talking about Swift transactions and Ripple. Can you share some insight about how that went and what that was about?
Yeah, absolutely. I was on a call with a buddy of mine I'm fortunate to call him a mentor, call him a friend, travel with him around well, through Portugal and in Vegas, and great guy. Anyways, he we were talking, and real quick before I dive in, Milton, what are you eating? You're making me hungry, brother. I'm so hungry. I'm not in line. It is 4:47 right now, and my wife said she was going to pick up some kebab, like skewers. Just so I'm looking forward to that dinner. But anyways, I don't mean to interrupt. Or call you call you out. I was admiring. You're winning right now. You're getting alpha and you're getting fed. You're getting
He's double dipping right now. And for the record, that's staying in the recording.
That's funny. Love you mucho, man. Thanks for that. Okay, so we were talking about my buddy and I were talking about the potential, the future growth potential of Ripple. None of this is confirmed. This is all speculation. But we have seen this in the market before, or as far as there are shares out there that are worth six figures, right? Is it Berkshire Hathaway or others? And so what we were thinking about was in the event if Ripple took over the transactional volume, or at least had the same valuation of Swift, because they are an outfit. How much is that outfit worth? And I believe the numbers were 45 trillion. And so, okay, if that valuation of that company is worth 45 trillion, and Ripple has a potentially, I believe the number was 177.9 million shares issued. I went to ChatGPT because my calculator couldn't do that to calculate this number or do this equation. But ultimately, we took 45 trillion divided by 177.9 million. That equals approximately $252,951. That was what would make the Ripple share value if you were to take the valuation of Swift divided by the amount of shares issued by Ripple. That's just, again, these are ballpark figures, but could you imagine if one Ripple share was worth 300 or 250,000?
How much, and before you go further, how much is Ripple share right now today?
Oh, Ripple on Link2's platform, they are about a little over $40.
And
Yeah.
what's the potential possibly
Of
price?
Ripple taking over Ripple of reaching a $35 trillion valuation. Shoot, man, what is Apple at? A 1 trillion, 2 trillion? What are they at now today?
Let's find out.
Yeah, please. Now, just imagine they're a company, yes, that is developing phones. Everyone has one, and they're I would say instrumental now to. I mean, everybody's should have a phone these
Absolutely.
days. So, but where I'm getting at is that's why they're worth trillions of dollars. Now, if you're a company that's settling the derivatives market, the stock market, you've tokenized or moved the collateral, the value of the golds market and other metals onto that system. And I'm not saying that is going to occur, but who knows? If you're talking about, or if Ripple's touching or is the settlement rail for all the money, we're talking about quadrillions of bucks. So
Quadrillions of dollars, absolutely.
yeah,
And just to be clear, it's already happening with tokenization of gold on the XRP ledger. It's actually happening. So
yeah, it is.
this is something that can truly happen. And just to put that in perspective, Apple's market capitalization as of July 2024 is $3.509 trillion.
Yeah. Okay.
And the stock price right now is valued at 228.88. So think about
Wow.
if it's able to take over that whole valuation of Swift.
Yeah.
Swift doesn't stand a chance. And with Ripple technology, they're already implementing the
There.
just the, I don't want to go too
There,
deep because everybody
yeah.
can't get the 1% side of things,
Hmm.
but they already have two-way messaging, which already trumps what Swift is already doing already.
Hmm.
Every single bank has found the plus, the advantages, the upside to this all across the board with two-way messaging. You're able to correct problems in real time as opposed to a Swift transaction that can fail. It's only a one-way communication. Nobody can respond back to it. So if it fails, it may take 7 days, 15 days before it's even caught, let alone rectified and settled. And then you have to reattempt the transaction. So there's a lot that's happening right now behind the scenes
Mm.
that can lead to this being a true possibility. I can truly see this happening. And
Wow.
Ripple from day one, they've already set out. They started from the beginning to position themselves as the global reserve currency. They always wanted that. That was early. That was early on in the game. David Schwartz, he's the architect, one of the architects. Um,
You
he
know,
he called this, a long time ago, and ever since Ripple, the company, has been positioning XRP in their product offerings, in their technology, and you got governments and big institutions that's been utilizing this technology and this digital asset to be able to perform these same transactions we're speaking about. So I want to highlight the fact that he's actually been interviewing people like Monica Long of Ripple. He's he's
who
interviewed
me?
the CEO, yeah, from Link2. Yeah. He's like, who,
No,
me?
no, no, I haven't done interview Monica Long, but I have been in. I should have. I was in the same room as her at I think it was South by Southwest or Consensus
I think it was
2022 or 20.
consensus. Yeah, I seen the clip, but it was when you were with Link2. I'm not sure. I just saw the clip
Yeah,
when
yeah,
you
you're
and her.
absolutely
Yeah.
right. And then there was to your point though on the conversation of well, I've actually had the opportunity to interview this gentleman. His name was Miguel Villa, or is Miguel Villas,
Wow.
former I think he was head of the head of liquidity or for the XRPL head of XRPL markets for
Mhm.
Ripple. Anyways, he's from CME. Uh, he actually worked briefly at Link2. And so, anyways, it was just a very interesting conversation. I really appreciated the opportunity to get in the same digital room as him and chop it up. But he was thinking about talking about the future growth potential of gaming. And it's like I'm sorry that it's taking a little longer than anticipated. I didn't. What do you mean by that? It's like just I'm sorry. Yeah, so I don't know what he meant by that, but
Yeah.
I mean, maybe he was hoping that the flip of the switch moment was going to be earlier. Who knows? But regardless, uh, yeah, nice guy. And I mean, everybody that worked at Link2 was a really talented and respectable individual. So, uh, great opportunity to work there, and I'm looking forward to being in the same room as them in future endeavors. Yeah.
So with your new platform, I know you've been conducting some interviews now, right? And
Yeah, oh,
these
yeah,
are
absolutely. I actually today I have one more interview to do. I'm hopping into a live stream with Jake Glaber here shortly, which should be interesting. I typically I get a few questions or a little bit of like a brief on what we're going to talk about, but similar to this production and just going in blind and having fun and that's kind of what I'm here for. But ultimately. Some of the people that I've recently interviewed, Molly Elmore, Jimmy Valley. I hopped into a live stream with them when we were all at the Quantum Summit in Cape Canaveral. What an experience that was. Uh, we were out there in Cape Canaveral. That's where they have the Space Force is located. That's where they have NASA at. So, man, as mentioned, Link2 has space products on there. So, I've tracked a lot of space companies, and so I was always keeping tabs on launches, and I was keeping tabs on launches, weeks in advance of this quantum summit. But due to going out on my own, having to reprioritize some things, or just basically my attention, I forgot to check up on the rocket schedule, or the rocket launch schedule, when I was out there, or the week leading up to it. But regardless, though, it was 9:30 p.m. I'm floating in the pool at the Airbnb in Cape Canaveral, and I just see I see the rocket get shot up by NASA, and I'm like, oh, that was pretty damn cool, because it was so loud, and it was unexpected, and it was great. I had enough time to doggy paddle over and grab my phone, and get and get the last little visibility of the rocket while in sight. But then the next night, I saw the biggest shooting star I've ever seen in my life. It was so wide, anyways, the guy who's hosting the conference, Mel Carmine, great guy, character, he goes, Ray, that's because we're in a vortex here. We're in a vortex. And I don't know what he meant by that, but he was passionate about that. And I highly recommend, if you guys check out Mel Carmine. I think it's like QFS, or Quantum Financial System.
Yeah.
Yeah, big believer in Nassar Gassara, like a reset of the debt and all that jazz. So who knows if that's tied in with BRICS and their movement to tokenize gold and move to an asset-backed currency. So,
Sure.
or if that's related to Project Sandman, with there's a dump in the U.S. Treasuries, and all of a sudden there's a higher inflation that hits the U.S. markets, that puts us into a tighter liquidity crunch, and maybe that's something that has ripple effects and brings in XRP. I don't know, but regardless, though, all of those things could occur, and they could be a leading factor to some type of potential reset or adoption, political reform. Who knows it? I'm curious to see, looking short term, are they going to have a presidential campaign, or is there still, are we still going to have a campaign for the presidency, or an election? Excuse me. Geez, Louise, is
Yeah.
there still going to even be an election with these types of occurrences going on? Donald Trump's supposed to speak at Bitcoin Nashville next week.
Next week. Yeah.
Yeah, and which blows my mind. So if he's going to do that, there's going to be some insane amount of security on premise. I'm sure he's going to be behind walls of security measures, glass and whatever. I mean, as he should. How he got to that situation is, I mean, there's news being broke out that it was, unfortunately, people knew about those situations before and allowed them to occur. Who knows if those are facts, or if that's just noise. But regardless, though, for what occurred over the weekend was just mind blowing, and I think there is some gross negligence. But regardless, though, that's just my personal views.
Yeah.
But again, because of that, I think there's going to be some tighter security measures in place at all things, and maybe it takes these types of occurrences, and it sucks to say that, to start thinking about implementing new governance protocols underpinned by blockchain solutions, because those have the ability to not just do that, but then also to underpin, the way that the governance between companies, if you've got subsidiaries, where is that value being moved from one subsidiary to the next, and how is that value being extracted? Because if you're able to track a transaction pre-transaction or post as well, because it's all in the blockchain, then I think
Blockchain
it's
voting.
yeah. So going back to
That
the
leads the
governance of
way.
blockchain voting, I think there's just going to be ways to do that as well. Yeah, I'm preparing for another call that I have later today. I'm talking to the CEO of XDC Network, and in preparation
Sunil.
of it, yeah, Sunil Senapati. He is the CEO of XDC Trade Network, and they're tokenizing trade finance. That includes bills of label, other certificates of ownership. What else could we talk about? Other things related to logistics, monetization, and the metrics involved from cross-border. Hold on, give me 1 second. I want to pull up so I'm not just rambling.
Yeah. You'll pull up
Uh,
stats. Pull
yeah,
up
I
the
want to pull up,
nodes.
let's talk about real quick. Yeah, because I mean, if XDC on the XDC network, switching gears from the XRPL, they had tokenized their first promissory note like 2 weeks ago. A promissory note is just like a bond, it's
Yep.
debt. And so here we are tokenizing debt, uh, which I think potentially if we have, it's not like the world's debt or the US debt isn't going to be wiped away. I think it's just going to be accounted for potentially on a new system.
Yeah.
And maybe on that new system, you're able to leverage that and turn that in and do some things that
Do a
you weren't able to.
new financial instrument, be able to conduct those transactions on these new tokenized platforms. It
Yeah,
rise
and
to more demand, more use case on certain blockchains, then interoperability. Then you
yeah.
need certain tokens to facilitate those transactions. If you guys pick up what I'm putting down, I might
What do
just
you what do you what do you put down? What do you put down, Chan?
I might just be rambling. I don't know what I'm talking about here. I don't know if
Yeah,
you guys are paying attention to that, but I'm pretty sure you guys got what I'm getting at.
yeah. Well, I let me be. Let's see here. These guys created or they're using standards. I mean, all this is underpinned by standards as well. I come from the insurance industry, and at the bottom of every insurance policy, um, uh, there is a company listed at the very bottom of each insurance page. Actually, it says ISO services, international, or was it insurance standard organization, insurance organization services. It's actually, I think it was international insurance services organization, so ISO, but the acronym was still iOS. I'm getting it backed up, confused, but regardless, maybe that confusion is by design. And so regardless, so when I saw ISO being the entity that standardized the insurance policies, and you hear about ISO 20022, the payment repository that was also developed by or in support by Ripple, wouldn't there, doesn't that make sense that there's an agency or an entity that oversees the implementation of standards for the way that value or data or money is transferred from one financial institution to the next? And so I thought that makes sense. There's a framework for not just the incumbents to abide by when it comes for insurance practices or policies, that the same rules apply for how the banks need to you know follow suit to sending that, again, that data, that volume. So I've heard other influencers use the example of like when you go into a shipping yard, at a certain time, many of these shipping yards have the same types of mechanisms to pull and install those cargo boxes or shipping containers on and off the vessels,
Mhm.
and those same machinery or equipment is standardized at all ports to streamline the processes of how those goods are removed or put onto the vessels. And so you just got to think about the same rules or the same philosophy applies. You just create standards. And I mean, we all try to create standards in pretty much everything we do because it optimizes or streamlines whatever we're trying to do. I mean, uh, from your schedule to, I mean, whatever activities you got going on. So again, I don't think, I think a lot of people think that blockchain or crypto was here to disrupt and liberate the world. Sure, it's liberated many. You see people driving Lambos that probably didn't deserve it. I'm kidding. They did. Everybody's got what they got. Is like I always say, everything settles as it should. So if they got a Lambo, then they should have got it. But where I'm getting at is, I think that, well, shoot, now I'm distracted by Lambos. But I
It's
think
coming. It's coming. You
yeah.
feel it.
I feel it. I feel it. Just like I feel my hair falling off my head right now. But oh oh we there was just narratives as kind of leaned on, or I leaned on earlier, about people thinking blockchain was anonymous, or some of these networks, they're anonymous, allowed for anonymous transactions, or that crypto was mentioned was liberating. There was a Bitcoin narrative that it was built by libertarians, and that's why it caught storm. It was down with the governments, down with the incumbents, down with the banks. And for me, it's I as much as you want to buy into that narrative to make money, or you think that that there's legs to that story, I don't think there's much truth to that, because if the banks the central banks were to lose power, then there's going to be more chaos than there already is. There's going to be tanks on the street. There's just, I mean, they would just shut down your bank account. There's a lot of things that I think that they still have control for, and the fact that that isn't going on, I think that there's occurrences, there are characteristics of the banks kind of shutting off or not allowing your card to work on various networks, and that's their way of showing their force. But at the end of the day, and they may be doing that for regulatory reasons, but regardless, though, I think that until once these regulations are in fact firmed up, and we're at that point where DLT is implemented and the banks are using it, well, that's because we were supposed to get there. They're supposed to be using these resources.
Right.
They've developed a better mousetrap or process for moving that money, or validating or monitoring that data value moving across network from one participant to the next, and that thankfully will eliminate fraud, bad actors, intermediaries. But that's the name of the game. We've got technology to streamline and improve past performances, and so that's been software is always developing, or there's just, I mean, we're in thankfully we're innovators and developers and creators at heart, and so that's I think we're always going to keep doing that, and we're always going to be evolving, but hopefully faster than AI.
Listen,
I'm kidding.
we've been real heavy on this side with artificial intelligence.
Yeah.
With the interviews that you've been conducting on your end, are you able to share like some intel on just, I guess, how
Well,
the trajectory of the space is gonna go, like, or what's
yeah,
happening now that's gonna influence the emergence and the appreciation of the crypto market overall?
yeah. Well, I think AI and crypto are synonymous, or as far as those tools are going to be supporting of each other. I mean, many companies are already leveraging AI for marketing reasons. It optimizes how a company can better service their customer base, or better communicate, better engage. So a lot of AI tools are already being implemented by many companies on Link2's platform. I mean, there are AI companies on there. They're all tech enabled. And if you're using tech and you want to survive and you want to get that next shiny funding round, well, it might help if you're already implementing AI and marketing some of those to your investors or the broad audience, your customer base. And so I think I think yeah, obviously Nvidia is leading the market, but we're seeing Cerebras, that's on Link2's platform, which I believe they restocked today, coincidentally, is they've already announced I think they've already filed their S1 or announcement to go public as well. So let me double check, because I saw an email come out from Cerebras. Let's see, Cerebras. You know what? Sorry, it's dark in my room. Cerebras. I told you I struggle to find the keys at times. Yeah. Cerebras is marching towards an IPO with a Bloomberg article reporting. Give me 1 second. Oh, you know what? That is a Bloomberg article, so I don't want to show you that and then all of a sudden be behind the paywall. Yeah, let me just tell you, Cerebras, they're making new chips that are wafer scale. Their wafers are huge. They have 2 trillion transistors when the next competitor has a couple billion. And what I mean by that, they're just able to process more data and be more supportive for these new AI use cases that require a lot of bandwidth. things that kind of go beyond my skill set of being able to talk about, but I'm not here to bullshit you. They make some of the biggest chips out there that are bigger than their components. So they're able to take on, just process more data and provide, I think, quicker processing times and things of that nature. But
Yeah.
regardless, so AI is only getting better, faster, stronger. I'm personally leveraging AI on a lot of things that I'm doing personally. I've interviewed individuals from the space that are building AI synthetic bots, which for the sake of, like, for instance, let's just say I have a website and I want to better service my customer base and provide them with the top investing advice, or uh, uh, not investment advice, but just data points from the market. Well, you
Yeah.
can have that AI synthetic bot that's speaking with the sound of your voice, or using your same type of, the way that you speak, your vernacular, and then have it pull from specific plugins or data sets that are tied into the market, where all of a sudden you're getting real-time rock updates or things of that nature.
Right.
And so I think those are some really interesting things. Um, Other things about AI. I mean, everything's going to be underpinned by AI. So, and everything's going to be underpinned by these distributed ledger systems. We'll see how fast we get to mass adoption. That's really what I'm mostly focused on.
Yeah.
And because ultimately, I mean, we've been here in the space for a while. Me, not as long as you probably, and not nearly as long as others. But I think I made my first crypto investment in 2019, but towards the end of it. So it was kind of at a high for that point in time, which is kind of a bummer. But regardless, though, I've made some great gains and developed some great relationships, and had the opportunity, as mentioned, just to do stuff like this. I enjoy it, and uh, it means a lot to me. It's satisfying. Yeah.
Listen, man, we greatly appreciate you. I know you got to prepare for your next meeting. That is a
Yeah.
huge meeting. I want you to bring it back. Definitely, we'll talk offline, but I want to bring some info back to the students. The CEO.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say the company, but the CEO that we just spoke about, Sunil. I want to bring
Yeah.
that information back in some way, some shape, form, or fashion. But I honestly wanted to connect. I know you were connecting me with I can't think of his name, but he's with the same company. Trey Trey Nelson.
Trey. Yeah, I was gonna say Trey Lloyd. Trey Lloyd Nelson. Yeah, great guy.
Yeah.
Phenomenal individual. So I'm hoping I see him sooner rather than later. But yeah, real quick on XDC, because I wanted to do some homework on them before I hopped into the room with Sunil. They today have processed 563 million transactions in the 5 years of launching their platform. I think that's incredible. And so uh, circulating supply of XDC is 13 billion total. No, no, yeah, total supply is 37.9. I think they are an inflationary asset. So which I mean by that is they can print more XDC if necessary, which XRP is a deflationary asset that burns per every transaction, a little fraction. So, over time, that's why that'll help improve the price of XRP as the network evolves and there's more transactions being processed, and that'll expedite some of those that burn rate basically.
Absolutely.
uh yeah, there's a lot of things that are gonna, I mean, it's like a flywheel effect, and that's where, I think that, what, I've had some very interesting, I've interviewed or just shot the shit, excuse my language, with even very interesting people like Bob Way, who is, I want to say, probably the uh less in the earliest employees at Ripple. He was one of, like, less than, I think he was like number 8 or 9. But regardless, he was the head of their engineering department at one time, and then they called him a graybeard, like the wise developer. And anyways, I was talking to him because he's just a great guy to talk to, and a wonderful walking dictionary. And anyways, he said to me, I'm like, Bob, what's this? Is XRP only for institutional investors? Is it just for the banks? You know, that's all you hear. He's like, no, no, we made it for retail too. And so I mean, I think we'll see. You know, we'll see what develops with this market. I'm not here to tell you I got a crystal ball and I know how this is all going to fall, all how the cookie crumbles. But all I can tell you is I'm invested uh, in with my time and of course my money. But regardless, I just have faith that there's a lot of good people in the trenches right alongside of us, and I think tech, when developed, is I mean, these protocols are developed to be like trustless. It's just they're going to do what they say, and if they're developed, and especially being open source, so you can check the code and things of that nature, that there's plenty of good actors that are developing. That's something that's going to be potentially around for centuries, or at least the next 100 years
Next
easily.
100 years, easy.
Yeah, yeah. So we'll see what happens. You know, I've got a book behind me. It was called, you know, like the Nasdaq was developed to be around for 100 years. Well, maybe now with DLT and whatever's created next, maybe it called Link to. Maybe that is the next Nasdaq. Who knows?
Right.
But regardless, though, exciting times. I think we're talking about some big numbers. I think, like I was in Brad Kimes's mastermind group earlier today, and we were just talking to some of his students, and you know, like I said to them, or what I've shared briefly, was the hardest thing to do in investing at times, especially with such dynamic occurrences in the market, is just doing nothing. And you get so caught up in the hype, caught up in the FUD and whatever. But as long as if you ultimately did your research, then you should be in the clear. But again, it's investing; not everything's guaranteed. So I'm not here to make many false promises. But I hope by doing your research and eliminating some of the things you can't control, or focusing on the things you can control, and doing your homework, I think you'll be in a better spot. What I mean by that is I saw a really interesting quote. Well, I'm kind of mixing some quotes real quick, and I know we got to go. Is I saw a quote from a guy that said, you know, what is a process that will help you just find, I think it was better solstice, or basically be just more content with your beingness, like just who you are, a state of being. Like how do you preserve your state of being? How do you not lose your self-control and to the environment? And the guy was like, oh, that's a great question. I think the best way to do that is to build out a list. In that list, you'll probably litter out, you know, things you can and can't control, cross off the things you can't control, and just focus on those that you can. And I just thought that was a really interesting, just
Yeah.
a reminder to eliminate the noise and just focus on the things that we can control as investors. And that is doing our research, checking out the fundamentals, looking at various data points that could be on platforms like PitchBook and other things of that nature, Investopedia, whatever, Link2's
Right.
platform.
Skyton
And so,
Academy.
yeah. Yeah, or yeah, excuse me, the Skyton Academy, exactly.
Yeah.
Apologies. And uh yeah, so again, yeah, definitely on the Skyton Academy. And that's really what I think would help eliminate that, is just using the available resources and reaching out. I don't think it ever hurts to ask questions or be vulnerable,
Mhm.
because through those vulnerabilities you learn and those around you learn. And I think
Absolutely.
that's kind of like what I always default on is whatever. At least if I don't know this, probably someone else doesn't, and someone else will benefit by me looking stupid or silly. But regardless,
Yeah.
I'm gonna ask that question.
Yeah.
Uh,
Man. It's no
yeah,
such thing as a stupid question or a dumb question. We tell the students this all the time. So
yeah. Hey,
glad, glad you said that. That was impromptu.
I'm. Yeah, thank you. I'm sorry to speak over you. I'm a student right alongside you guys. I'm thankful to be just have an opportunity to chat, because actually just through this exercise, that's where I do majority of my learning as well, is just being able to sit across from somebody like you and learn and pick from your brain. But
It's an
I,
honor.
I'm sorry I've been holding the microphone or taking control of it, because
Listen,
I just
they get me and Steve every week. You know, they don't get
yeah.
you every week, so it's good. It's not a problem.
Okay, cool. I appreciate that. Yeah, well, it was good to be back, and I'm looking forward to the next time. Hopefully next time I'll have a beautiful website and things like that to market, because the one that I have right now, if you went to rayfuentes.io, it was created a few days after leaving the company, or parting ways with Link 2, and uh, ultimately the aspirations were to apply the same skill set and resources to other fintechs, but I'm overlooking, just so much other utility that I provide as well, which is just the experience that I have in this investment arena, and the content that I have to offer, which I need to get that content onto the website, and be able to potentially monetize it, or do some other things that we weren't really able to do until now. So I'm just trying to basically uh, not only fight for what I believe in, but also use some of these resources to their full capabilities, and really put my money where my mouth is at times. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Yeah, and that was actually a compliment that I received from others when I was working at Link2, because they're like, I'd show them, hey man, I got this investment right alongside you, man. So I'm not shilling a company that I'm not a big believer in, or using their products and things of that nature. So again, I'm not only I'm applying the fundamentals in a different way as well. I'm a customer. I'm going deeper, and I'm buying their shit. Excuse my language.
Yeah. And that gives
uh,
type of transparency is what gives comfort to other retail investors, to know that if you're heading something or you're speaking about something, that you got skin in the game as well, that you're actually invested. You have something to
yeah.
lose as well, right? And you're
Yeah.
not paid off, you're not incentivized in no way. You're doing this because you're genuinely invested and you've done the research and you believe in this project. So that's
Yeah,
incredible.
yeah. I'm getting nobody right now. Someone hire me. Pay me. Kidding.
Listen, so
XRP, yeah.
So look, Ray, he transitioned from Link to his own platform. So he already told you guys, he gave you insights about tokenization and things like that. And this is for content creators. Essentially, what he's doing right now is he's telling you that this is coming, right? They're going to incentivize people who are creating content for everybody else. So yes, you can have I don't know if XRP tip bot back. If it's
Sorry,
back,
dude. I'm going back and
he
forth
can
in the
get
middle right
paid in
now.
XRP. I see you in the chat.
If the tip bot comes back, that would be great. Understanding that X is potentially moving to something like a WeChat, or an everything app, a super app, an app that can process payments. I mean, they got plugins right now with Stripe. Stripe now is gonna already is offering, it has crypto in Rails, so
Yeah,
crypto
partner.
inroads, or yeah, and so I think they're already there. I'm interested to see what happens now with the XRP tip bot. Who knows? I I don't know. Will they bring it back? Maybe. That would be great. That would get more adoption, get the buzz going, and really would be really interesting to see what happens. I know
So
it caught the fancy of a lot of people in the past.
absolutely. So on X, I know you've conducted interviews on X as well. What's the chat room inside X, or formerly known as Twitter? What's the like when they go live and you can all do your interviews and stuff on there? There's somebody who hosts. I know Mario, he
Are
does
you talking about Spaces?
Spaces. So
Yes.
in Spaces, I know X has they're starting to do integrations with different things, and I'm hearing that they're going to start doing plugins to be able to pay content creators in digital assets in cryptocurrencies.
Oh
So
man, yeah. Well, I mean, you can pay them in whatever. Well, they can ask for whatever currency they want. It really depends on if the that um that company has those capabilities as well. I've had experience working with influencers in the past. Some of them could even, they want, it depends on what affinity blockchain they have, or to what affinity to blockchain they have. Maybe somebody wants to get paid in Cardano, or they wanted to get paid in Bitcoin, or they wanted to get them paid in Tether. Uh,
Wah, wah,
so
wah.
yeah, yeah. So it really it really depends, but ultimately it also depends on the regulations around the entity that they are or the market that they're participating in. And so if they're in a regulated industry, maybe they can't pay with crypto. And so it's like it really depends. And I think once we move to the stable coin, maybe they're paying in RLUSD or USDC. So regardless, yes, it's in digital asset form, but it's a representation of true value of digital dollars. So I think they're doing that transaction in just a digital dollar. But could an individual be request to be paid in XRP? Yeah, I mean, look at go to Unstoppable Domains. You have the ability to use the domain name, and it'll be a humanized readable name, and that could be a representation or a secondary layer over multiple crypto wallets. And so you
Yep.
can just say like, hey champ, send me. I'm going to butcher this because I haven't talked about this in a while or seen the recent upgrades to their platform. But you could potentially just say, hey, champ, send me Bitcoin or whatever you got. I have that tied into my domain name on Unstoppable Domains, and then my domain name would automatically push it to whatever wallet that I've assigned it to. Where I'm getting at is and you just have the ability to push it to a human readable name. I just think that's really why I'm stuck on that is one that could tie potentially into an identity. You're eliminating that potential human error. That domain name is also a website. And so there's a lot of things that you could potentially do from a branding perspective, but ultimately it's still relatively early in the market for this technology. I say that because I've recently tried to build a domain using their tech, and it looks really clunky right now. So I think unless speaking out loud, were to, because I'm working with some blockchain developers right now to build out a website for me that has the ability to tokenize my content that I'm making, so that people can, either fund or sponsor that asset or that product
Mhm.
with digital assets. They're XRP for sure. There's a lot of things that are coming through into the fold that I think are really exciting, and so I just think people should just if you have an entrepreneurial spirit or the motivation or drive to get your hands wet, and unfortunately probably have a little bit long hours starting your own firm, maybe go for it, flap your wings and take the risk. That's basically what entrepreneurship is just taking risk. Just how do you mitigate it or reduce it and win, uh, lose less. So I'm still personally trying to figure all that out right now. What is my true value? How much should I be charging these people for the content that I'm creating on their behalf and things of that nature? So
Yeah.
uh, I recently created a 6 episode series for some influencers that shows them how to launch their own YouTube presence and things of that nature. And so it's very helpful as I was also doing this for myself. But it's just the act of doing, man. I can't tell you, like I screwed up on my live stream yesterday. You probably won't notice. I mean, you probably will because it was the first it was the first thing you saw when the live stream started. I forgot to put like a 6 second buffering in because the live stream there's a delay. And so if I were to press the buttons at the same time, you're chopping into the production. And so I have to add like a 6 second buffer to my videos. So it allows just basically the first few seconds they'll get chopped off. But where I'm getting at is I screwed up, and those screw ups help me or reinforce the learning lesson, and it's part of the journey. And so I'm not here to cut corners because If I did, then I'm just shooting myself in the foot, and then I'm not going to be the best, or I won't get to that next level. And it's, again, it's all part of the journey, man. So yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
sir.
yeah,
Listen, I don't want to keep you.
yeah, man.
I know
I
you got
know.
to prepare. But listen, Ray, it's been incredible. The people came to see you. They didn't necessarily come for us. You know what I mean? So I want everybody in the chat, make sure you guys show Ray some love. Thank him for his time because we greatly appreciate you being here, and we will bring you back. Because I
Yeah.
didn't get a chance to make mention of that confidential committee for that buyback.
Oh yeah.
We got more to chop it up about.
Yeah, man. Well, we kind of, if we think about it, the buyback we talked about, if XRP, man, if XRP got up to 30,000, 50,000 bucks, then that would make sense if the share is a couple $100,000. And so, it's all relative. So if Ripple's significant, well, then the XRP is significant as well. So, but again, that's all dependent on certain occurrences or situations. There's multiple evaluations that were proposed through the confidential committee that was led by Molly Elmore, Jimmy Valley, Val Hill Advisors, who I'm actually going to be seeing next week, thankfully, and I'll probably be interviewing them then. But last time we didn't really touch on the buyback or pricing when
Yeah.
I last spoke, and so I think it's at 60 cents right now. Let's hit a buck first, or let's walk before we run. And so I think we all have work to do, and that's what we're all focused on right now. And and we're not going to get to where we want to without the work that we're doing now. So I get it. We're hustling. I'm hustling. I'll be working probably till 1 a.m. tonight,
Go,
and
that's sweat
back.
equity.
Yeah, sweat equity, and I'll be back at it at 7 in the morning, and I've been doing that now for probably 3 years. And so, but that's what it takes if you want to develop a multi-million dollar firm or a global entity, have a global presence. And Nathan, I see your question. So, are you buying? I don't know if you're talking about XDC or XRP, but yeah, I'm dollar cost averaging uh, up and down, and so it is what it is. Oh, thanks for putting in the uh the links to my socials. I'm just going in here to see if you got any fast talking Quincy. Lionel, I see you. That's so funny. Yeah, I've had the opportunity to interview Quincy multiple times.
Brilliant, brilliant
At the,
mind. Brilliant
yeah,
mind. He
he's
talks fast, but he's brilliant.
he does, and we just get excited, and because there's so much to talk about. This technology touches so many different sectors and can be applied in so many different ways. Is it a security? Is it a not? Well, it depends on the transaction. Depends on where you're at in the world. There's just so many ways to slice and dice this technology, and to talk about it in an hour and a half is just so tough. And so it's like, what do you want to talk about first?
Yeah.
You want to talk about clickbait stuff, or do you want to talk about conspiracies? Are those the same? Well, maybe not. Maybe just wait 6 weeks. And
Right.
so it's just it's just there's just so much going on, man. And
Yeah.
but anyways, yeah, happy to come back at any later time. Um, I'm excited. I'm hoping that there's something that occurs later on in this market. Maybe, I mean, a lot of people think that there's something to occur tomorrow, the 18th. What is it? I
Yeah.
don't know. So, but I just think, if Ripple, or not Ripple, if Circle had did a confidential IPO, or made a confidential announcement to IPO, and that was sometime in May, well, then we should be getting towards the end of that lockup period. And the last time that we had a bull run in 2021, Coinbase IPO'd. They went from 36 bucks on Link2's app to $360 per share when they entered the market. So I'm thinking we'll probably see another entity uh, uh, gallop into the public markets alongside some type of extreme rise in the digital asset space. We'll probably see Bitcoin do something, go up. And so I think so when we see something happen in this crypto space, we'll probably see another company in the traditional market go IPO, and it's probably going to be a digital asset company. and it'll probably be maybe circle or ripple, maybe both, who knows. But I think we're always going to see something like that, which is going to be really exciting for the Link 2 community, because it'll have a flywheel effect. Even Link 2, being that they're a broker dealer, they are also investing in these companies right alongside their customers, so they have skin in the game. So that's only going to bolster their valuation as well. And so again, what do you want to talk about? There's only so much time in the day, and we could talk about just so much stuff. And so if you like, I can have you on my channel next, Champ. We can talk about some more things. Maybe I can bring on somebody else onto the channel to provide more value and have a really interesting discussion. Like maybe me, you, Steve, and I'll bring on somebody that can provide some really interesting insights, and then we can chop it up and for the benefit of both of our communities. But that's something I'm happy to do, and we can explore in the next couple of weeks. I'm slammed this week, and I'm slammed next.
Yeah.
I'll be supporting I'd say a very interesting client with a very exciting and exclusive conference at the Ritz-Carlton of Laguna Niguel here, so right down the street. And I've been trying to do this now for the past couple of years, so I think it'll be really exciting, and I can't wait to share when it actually occurs. So I'll have more insights and maybe a press release or something later. But other than that, that's me in a nutshell. You can reach me on Twitter, Ray underscore Fuentes 1111 1111. I like those. I like seeing those numbers on the clock, and I figured, you know what? In this world that we're at, we have the power to build our own luck, and I think that's I had that as a reminder to just, if you want something bad enough, go get it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and so and I think we have a real opportunity to do that in this new and emerging distributed ledger blockchain ecosystem. And that's it, guys. You can shoot me an email, contact@rayfuentes.io, RAYFUENTES.io, RAY at rayfuentes.io.
Gotcha.
You can also shoot me a message on LinkedIn. I got a Discord as well. I'm just the website should be polished and ready to go, I'd say, in the next 30 days. And then why 30 days? I mean, I have a website right now, but it doesn't have all my content on there yet, and some other things. We're just gotta some things just take time, and I gotta be patient. And so,
Absolutely.
but when we're there, I'll let you know. You're locked and loaded and ready to go, champ. I appreciate you having me, sir.
Yes, sir. Hey, Tom. Hey, Steve. So Steve is back. Steve
Yep.
is on right now, right?
Oh,
And
yes.
yeah, we got him down here. He's in the building right now.
Oh,
So
okay.
S- Ray's been killing it, right?
I
And
know.
Ray,
I was listening.
yeah, he's
I was
been killing it.
definitely
Been going off, right? He been dropping some serious gems. So I'm kind of glad that you're back in action. So he been smoking it.
right.
We
Take over.
Yeah, the Ray takeover.
we smoked out over here, Steve.
Oh man, listen, I love it. I'm welcome to Skyton Academy.
Yeah, how you doing, sir? Good to see you.
Yeah, we paying Shiba Inu.
Excellent. Man, a shameless Shiba. I think I have a little bit of exposure in Shiba in an I Trust Capital account, just because I'm like,
Yeah.
hey, if something were to do something interesting, this was before when they shut off the opportunity to invest in XRP due to the lawsuit. So I was
Mhm.
just like, man, if I'm going to do this in any account, I'll shamelessly do that in the I Trust. But yeah, I think it was like $100. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Anyways, I'm glad you hopped on. How was your son's game?
It was they good. They won. They won the
Nice.
Awesome.
championship. So it was cool. Yeah, yeah.
Congrats.
So we're done with that. Back to the next game. It's always something.
Yeah. Very
No,
cool.
you were killing it. I was listening at the game. Actually,
Oh,
your talk
cool.
was more. It was more. Well, the game was entertaining, but you're always entertaining.
Oh, that's so funny.
What was Milton eating? What was he eating? I missed that part.
He didn't share, man.
He didn't say.
No, he didn't. It's okay. It's all right. Next time.
Where's Joe? Joe from the Bronx is on.
Nah,
Taco Bell.
he ain't here with a cigar in his hat. He not here right now, man.
Nah, I
Oh
love it.
man.
I love it. Nah, you
Nice.
killed it, right? I definitely appreciate you dropping a lot of information on the community.
Oh yeah,
Always.
man. I'm just speaking from the heart and just speaking from recent past experiences and the reasons of why I make specific decisions. It's not rocket science. It's um I mean everybody has the ability to do exactly what I'm doing. I make videos with a phone. So it's like, it is it's surprising, but I think people appreciate that as well because maybe it's a movement or a new way of democratizing information or just a new way of marketing. Regardless, though, it's I just using my cell phone to interview or conduct productions. But again, there's some really great things that you can do with these instruments and the conversation is, I mean, and the opportunities to get in the room with people like you or Andre Casterman or Jay Christopher Giancarlo. I mean, even the new head of the VP of stablecoins, Jack McDonald, CEO of Polysign. Yeah.
Let's
So
go.
we'll see what happens. Yeah, we'll see what even happens with Polysign. There's a lot of questions from the way the transaction was done for them, or what's going to occur with Polysign. That they still have their IP. A little birdie told me that the IP is still generating $3 to $5 million a month for the company. So it's not like they're going broke. That company's still making revenues. So then what's going on? But then it leaves you think like, we're so questioned about the governance of these companies, then why not start tapping into the utility of these of the protocols that they're even developing or maybe that's the purpose of this. I don't know. Again, I'm just speculating. And so again, yeah, but about Polysign, it's funny, there's a lot of people that are kind of like disgruntled in certain social circles that I've noticed, but I think people forget that, I don't know. David Schwartz, the CTO of Ripple, is also, one of the founders of Polysign. Arthur Brito, the creator of the XRPL alongside David, was also a creator of Polysign. So, eventually, I mean, I imagine that the IP they created at Polysign is eventually going to end up being IP of Ripple. I'm sure eventually. So then what happens to the shareholders? Who knows? How they're compensated, how they're made whole? I don't know. And when does that occur? I don't know. But ultimately, again, kind of defaulting back to what I originally said at the very beginning, just I have faith that we're hopefully dealing with good people here and not dealing with an FTX. But again, this is investing and nothing's guaranteed. So fortunately, I don't have too much exposure in it, but it's enough to, I'll be bummed for the day and get over it by the morning and, think about the rest of my portfolio. I mean, that's whatever. I'm an adult. And so, but if you have six figures, seven, I could see where that's gonna, be a real big bust. But I mean, I think then if there was after the fact, I'm sure we'll kind of see then the writing that was on the wall after the loss and then be like, oh, I wish I would have noticed that then. But then it's like, well, why didn't I notice that? That information was always present. It's just maybe I was blinded by my motive or whatever my ego, whatever. And so regardless, I think, um, we'll see what happens. Again, I don't know. I'm just a guy that worked at Link 2 that had the opportunity to interview Jack once. And I was like, man, did he say anything in that interview that was leading? Like maybe I can find something there. But no, it was a very straight fairway commentary. And we'll see. He is the Ripple made him VP of stablecoins. So if they were the fact that they did that, and maybe they know that he's or poli science, they were doing something right, and they know still where the market's going. And again, I don't know. So I'm not here to say someone did something with any money or whatever, or what happened with, since Boathouse doesn't own any Polysign IP, Ripple now owns MG Stover and their licenses, so which will be Polysign just with their IP. And so again, I don't know.
I think I appreciate you actually sharing that, but that is actually awesome, because when you think about it and you think about the past personnel that Ripple has either acquired or let go, they've always left Ripple once a mission was complete, and they went elsewhere to build something else, and the synergy formed. Still, it's never not happened.
Yeah, I mean, we're not in the industry to burn bridges here or anything like that. So I think that's very valid. You go, I mean, shoot, I think I even saw one of the head VPs of Link2 leave today, and he's going to another great firm. So then it makes you think like, well, his mission was done. And so that's exactly what I thought. And because he did a great job when he was there. So, okay, well, or Matt Rosenden, no longer there. So yeah, you just, I mean, all of this is in the public domain, and that's why I don't mind saying that. And so this is all. My mission was done. I provided a service for when Link2 was in a pre-public stage, and maybe as my career evolves, I'll be ready to ride that or go through that process, or be the guy that will be at the helm when they're in the public markets. Who knows? And so I'm going back to that prior conversation. I did a really great job for a specific part of the business cycle for them, and now they're in a different part. And so and then I'm also in a different stage in my career path, and so now maybe we come back to each other, or maybe I do something else. Who knows? But regardless, I'm just taking it a day at a time, biting this whale one bite at a time, and just trying to stay in positive spirits and have faith that things will work out. Because if I don't, then that's just to be fearful, living in FUD. Really sucks. It's actually, and the reason why I was at an event for Coach JV. I don't know if you know who he is, but he's
my brother right there.
Yeah. I had an opportunity to speak at a couple of his events, and I was talking to a guy that I think was coming from Belgium, and he was out there in Arizona, and we were talking, and I remember telling him that he's like, Ray, what motivates you? And I'm like, fuck. Excuse my language. I said, like, man, right now I feel like I'm living in fear, because I'm staying up late. I'm afraid I'm going to lose my job because I'm crunched. I'm working till 2 a.m. Isn't the content I'm creating good? Is it not? Like, there's a lot of pressure. And I said, I was living in fear, and thinking back in that conversation, and even like, having this one now, it's, you may at times be motivated by fear. You may be motivated, whatever your motivation is. Hopefully it's just the impact from that motivation will be for the positive, however you get that motivation. And so but hopefully it's not in fear, because you don't want to be bald soon, and that's and it's all about the mindset. And so that's why I'm just focused on trying to be positive, focus on family. My daughter's turning 3 now. Excuse my language. She's already 3. She just turned 3. And so but where I'm getting at is I don't want to say I was absent, but I've focused a lot on other things rather than family. And so I want to really make that a priority. And it's so cool. Today I hopped on a meeting with a blockchain developer, because I'm trying to tokenize my real world media that I'm creating. And who was on that call with me was my sister, who's 3 or 4 years, I think she's 4 years younger than I. But it's in back to that comment of where I meant when you're on your pursuit of passion, like the universe or call God, things happen serendipityless, or the synchronicity from one event to the next. All of a sudden, I'm at my parents' house, or no. Talia, my sister, gave me called me on like middle of week last week, and she goes, "Hey, do you need help with building a website?" And I said, "Holy smokes! Like, I'm going through this exercise right now." And it's a shame on me. I didn't know my sister had this experience, but I guess she was working on the websites for the Kardashians and things like that for the company that she was on. So she's got a good eye. She's understands best practices, and it's families. So it's even more beautiful, back to just being able to like deepen my relationship with her, and spend more quality time with her, and get in the trenches, and introduce her to this Web3 environment as well. Cause she's like, you want to have an auction mechanism? What? Like, tokenize your assets? What? And so anyways, it'll be an interesting learning curve for her as we start implementing some of these resources and processes on the back end of the website, and get that going. So, but anyways, so serendipitous, like all of a sudden the universe opened up and dropped my sister in the lap, even though she's been at an arm's length from me my whole life. But it's, just shows I'm in my own world, my own swim lanes right now, with my horse blinders just focused on, what's in front of me. And but sometimes maybe that's the blessings, when you're working that hard, that all of a sudden things get thrown in your path, and miraculously by a divine intervention or something like that. And so that's where I like living in this swim lane right now.
That's it.
Love it.
Yeah.
Love it. And the moon cycle, I talked about this a few times in the last month or so. We're at a point now where, and this is everybody across the board, is questioning, and what am I doing? What should I be doing? What do I want to do?
Yeah.
Am I doing the right thing? Right. And you're coming into this space like at a wild time.
Yeah.
This is like everybody's on shaky ground. But it's a good time because they've shaken out so many people in the industry.
Mm-hmm.
We had a call today with one of our students, and he mentioned, this is Champ telling me that, he just appreciates how much content and information we put out consistently.
Yeah, you guys put out a lot of content. It's very impressive. Yeah.
And it's
good
like,
content too.
I appreciate
inspiring.
it.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. I mean, and it's just, and I always told Champ, like, this is going to be a movie, right? And we need it from different perspectives, because there's just, the way we talk projects, the way we get, kind of intimate with just what it can do, what the possibilities are, not knowing if it's going to actually even be the companies, but I just know there's going to be so much disruption.
Yeah, and that was something that I wanted to talk about, and I'm glad you brought up, because you're Champ, I appreciate you highlighting the fact that I'm interviewing these KOLs, C-suite executives. But honestly, the what I think has been most beautiful is just on interviewing the community members, man, and hearing the story that they have to offer. And because really it takes those organic conversations and that storytelling, or those like relatable potential experiences, or you can like, oh, I relate with this contractor, or this construction guy, or just this ordinary insurance broker. And so that has been, I think, the better where I feel like I've been providing more utility, and hey, and that's where it's like, maybe that person might be inclined to pay 50 XRP, or however much, it's whatever makes an equitable transaction. But that person might want my content because they're in it, and that has a little of a flywheel effect as well. You're helping them share a story. You bring in somebody in the community, they're passionate about this technology, they want to contribute it to your business model through this new payment rail, or new way of transacting. And so and it's all relative. And but that's where I'm glad that you brought up, because it's more than just interviewing the Saranjeevs, the Jack McDonalds, because dude, we're the one bringing their technology to life. We're the value. And as much as we say the tech is, we're the ones bringing that volume onto the network. Well, until the banks do, but or have they been doing that the whole time? Who knows? Yeah. So again, this technology is complementary to the incumbents, and they want it just as bad as we do. Yeah.
Listen,
Wow.
listen.
Smoke this one.
Absolutely.
Smoke
Kills
this
me.
one. Yeah, I love it. I love
Yeah,
it.
no, I gotta go on well, I have an hour till my next call, and then I've done enough homework on XDC. I know they're tokenizing trade finance, bill ladles, all the documents required for trade, and or the receipts, but it's just knowing their standards that they use for their ERC rails, and layer 2 system. And yeah, it's just, I mean, that's a smart contract that they've basically programmed. And so which the XRPL doesn't have smart contracts, so that's why it's EVM dependent. But I mean, what I learned, or what I thought was interesting, is a buddy told me that Bitcoin has a federated sidechain that connects right to the XRPL, which makes sense because actually, if you guys have time tomorrow, I'll be interviewing Jay Combo, the founder of Spend the Bits, or the founder and CEO of Spend the Bits. I think they're one of the first payment apps to move Bitcoin across the XRPL ledger, which is just the beginning of then moving that value onto the XRPL, right? Or at least the beginnings, maybe, or at least to expedite the process of moving Bitcoin transactions. Who knows? But that's just one of the things he's going to talk about tomorrow. He's going to also talk about, let me see my text. He said that
That's a big connection, guys. I don't
Yeah.
know if you heard that, but that's it's a wild bridge.
Yeah, it's a wild bridge. Let me find. Give me 1 second. He's a little further down.
And I know Ray is working with right now. He's working with various developers for the XRP ledger. So
Yeah.
Ray, what I want you to do is, this is a challenge from Skyton Academy, formerly Champ and Steve. We're asking you wholeheartedly. One, we need those guys in the building, because I want to know hooks is the smart contracts for the XRP ledger. I want to know what they're doing with hooks.
Yes. Yeah.
I need answers.
That would be a great conversation with Vitsi Wind.
Brad, we need Brad.
Oh, you
You
want
need Brad
Brad Kimes?
No, Brad
No.
Garlinghouse.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Good luck. I'm gonna need to shoot my shot with him as well now that I'm solo. But regardless, he back to Jay Combo, founder and CEO of Spend the Bits. He goes, Ray, I will demo new Flare app with Bitcoin and USDC payments. It's going live this week in Canada and El Salvador. And so I think that is interesting with then so he's already building on Flare, using it to send USDC. There's other chains that he's building on right now. So it's going to be a really interesting conversation tomorrow, just about the evolution of the ecosystem. Hugo and them don't even know that he's built this stuff yet, and so we'll see what. I asked him if he would be able to demo some of this, and that will be tomorrow. That is going to be at 12 p.m. Pacific, 3 p.m. Eastern. Yeah.
Yes. Send is that a public that he's gonna do the demo for?
Yeah, let me actually pull the link for the YouTube right here. Give me 1 second. Thank you for that.
And we'll post it in the community too.
Cool. I appreciate that. I had I've spent quality time with Jay a couple times. One, actually, I think he spoke at the first XRPL conference, and then saw him at the Ripple Proper Party in New York. And so when you see the thumbnail, it's him and I. We took a photo outside the Ripple Proper Party before we went in, and it was raining that day. So that's why I got water all over my shoulder. So I'm wearing a pea coat, thankfully. But it was he's a great guy, good vibes. John Deaton is a significant backer. Well, I don't, maybe financial. Actually, I don't know. Just a big promoter of Jay, and really believes in what he's building as well. And John Deaton is the white knight of the XRP community. So when John is a believer in something, I tend to align with his beliefs. He's also a top Link2 investor, so I've spent time with him at various events, and that's where I got to learn him on a deeper level. And like coming from hearing from the horse's mouth, he's an investor in Bitcoin, XRPL, Ethereum. He's not just an XRP maxi or anything like that. He believes in a multi-chain world. So regardless, that's all I know, and that's all I've been experienced to as of late. Got a great interview tomorrow that I think you guys would benefit from. But I think this was a great conversation. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Appreciate you.
Winning. Yes, for sure. Well, guys, if you don't have anything else, I'll leave you alone and get out of your hair. Unless you got any other questions, Steve. Talk to me, Steve.
You're a rock star, man. You are a contrarian.
How are you guys? While I have your attention, how are you creating all that content? You're pumping it out. Is it both of you guys, or do you have a team? Or
I'll be honest, I haven't even really done any real crypto related content. I hit this little groove with the expat.
okay,
I threw out this headline. It was like the wealthy are getting second passports, dual citizenship at an all-time
yes.
high, right? And then
yeah,
said some crazy shit, and it just went viral. And then from there, I started to meet people who left America. They're like, listen, I left. And I'm like, all right, where'd you go? Would you like that?
Yeah.
I started interviewing a few people.
Yeah.
And then I realized that there's a whole market of people that A, are already doing this, and B, that are looking to do it. And I connected the money transfer, right? Because everyone's a digital nomad. Everybody's making money here and then living abroad.
Mm-hmm.
So they were telling me how expensive it is to transfer the money. One girl was in the UK, another one was in Thailand. So I said, listen, you utilize cryptocurrency. It's this is the wave here.
Yeah.
And the convergence came out less in dealing with stable coin. So, I think there's this untapped world of digital nomads who you're going to have to learn the system.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
So, like you said, I just been flowing, man, and just, not so crypto centric, because everybody's covering the shit pretty much the same.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of burnt out from crypto. I'll be honest.
Yeah. Well, I think that's why people are probably moving to the tokenization branding, but ultimately it's that value is getting digitized. So,
that piqued me, real world assets, and then just the AI world. Like, if it wasn't for those two, I'm out, man. Like, ISO talk, please.
Yeah.
Like, whatever.
We did it for years and years. We did it. We talked about it. We gave it away before, we were an entity. So it's just like, we're over it. We're waiting for everything to keep materializing until it's that flip of the switch moment that we always talk about.
Yeah, I think that's a really interesting perspective, and I think that's part of the life cycle or the cycle of the markets, and you'll get back on the crypto or digital asset movement or blockchain, whatever you want to call it, when it makes sense. And
so listen, you're a contrarian. I got something that's burning right now, right? And you don't have to say which way you're going to go with it. So we love the space.
Yeah.
We have these two politicians on polar opposites. Same bird, different wing, like Champ says, right? Whatever. But then you got Van coming on. Is that enough for people to just, it's almost like a single issue vote? Is that big enough?
Yeah, for sure. I think there's enough I think there's enough wind in the sails to really, I mean, we've got a pending stablecoin act. We've got a pending Fit 21 bill. I mean, we just, even the Sob 121 that got vetoed, but if you read the literature from that was proposed even by the bank side or the institution side of the incumbencies, they were saying, I mean, they're highlighting the fact that they wanted this technology, and they were saying that actually it was very telling that I believe that we're potentially going to see the stablecoin act come in 2024, maybe the Fit 21 or delegating the assigning the CFTC to some of these transactions, which I thought they would, regardless. But who knows? Or maybe they develop a different type of little regulatory regime. I'm not sure. But regardless, I think we're going to see the next wave is going to be underpinned by or empowered by regulations, and that's timed up with what's going on in politics. I think it's all by design to get people investing and engaged with politics. But hey, I'm going to play the game and have fun with it.
Yeah.
Yep. But so I'm hopefully I left you guys with some information, or at least my philosophy. I think there is a transfer of wealth going on, and it's engaging. It's getting people into politics and all that jazz. Man, I don't know. It's this past weekend has really highlighted people's beliefs, and I think it's only created more divisiveness. I don't think this was a black swan in itself, but I think it just only underscores the sentiment in the market, especially in regards to politics, and we'll just wait and see what happens. I'm just hopeful that nobody gets killed or anything like that, and yeah. That's crazy that I'm even saying these things.
Yeah, no, you're 100% right. And it's just, it's sad that, it comes to play, but it's not the first time. History always tends to repeat itself. And
Yeah.
anytime I actually came across something that was profound, it said every time that there's some sort of like assassination attempt or something like that, there's a change in some sort of monetary force or monetary policy that kind of comes with it. And it highlighted Lincoln with the greenback.
Greenback, yeah.
That assassination was successful. Then you had Kennedy with silver. That
Mhm.
assassination was successful. Then you had Reagan with gold.
Mhm.
That was an assassination attempt. And then
Mhm.
now you have Trump with crypto.
Crypto, yeah.
That was an assassination attempt. So you see how, things kind of mirror themselves and they always spin back around. So
Yeah.
whether, we don't have to get into the details of whether we think something was pre-planned or whatever, but or orchestrated, whatever. But at the end of the day, that these cycles take place. These things happen every so many years. We're at the 100th year mark. The new financial system is here. It's crypto. It's digital assets. It's happening.
Yeah, at XRP Las Vegas, we got to listen to Lynette Zhang speak, and she's she is a big promoter of metals or investing in metals, commodities, and she mentioned in a production that I shared in an intro when I interviewed Jason Cousins, also on a recent live stream on my YouTube channel. She mentions how the system will remove gold like they did in 1971 with Nixon and re-inject gold back into the system when the system potentially is ready. What she meant by that, I thought maybe when there's a I don't know, new software system, or maybe there's something that's just going on cyclically. Regardless, though, the fact that there's powers that can decide to remove or re-inject gold to validate whatever system that is being ushered in throughout millions and billions of years we've been on this world, potentially, that maybe there's or at least for the most recent thousands of years, with going back to the Romans and how they've reused or how we've circulated with different currencies. And so I think, like, to your point, there's just going to be, this is just a reshuffling of that wealth, moving and migrating to a new, call it a new infrastructure.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's go.
QFS, let's go.
QFS, let's go. Yeah. But aside from that, yeah, who knows? I'm just oh yeah, you put the photo of that graphic exactly. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Well, guys, it's been a great chat.
Right.
Appreciate you, Ray. Listen, every morning, just keep grounding.
Where are you
like
at?
physically grounding. Put your feet in that grass.
Oh yeah.
Get that morning sun every morning. Trust me.
I appreciate that, Steve.
Start having a relationship with nature.
Well, I had it
everywhere.
Yeah, you're right. Right before I got on this call, I mean, I'd been in my office all day, and so like I told Champ, I had to just, I walked outside to the park for 5 minutes, just enough to get some sunlight but I don't do much grounding. Maybe I need to start doing that. I need to do, what I need to do is, well, I used to surf a lot. That is grounding. I mean, you're on the beach.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's I need to get back to that. I need to, the waves have been calling me, but so of the ripple waves,
Right.
yeah, I want to ride that wave too, and build this empire. So got to pick and choose your battles, and right now I'm dedicated. So, but regardless, it's been a pleasure, guys, and
Appreciate you.
Yeah, hopefully you come back soon, or have you on my channel. We'll bring on some people that can bring some great conversation. And do you know like Verson Algera and those guys, Black Swan Capitalists? Have you connected with them
Yeah,
yet?
yeah. I follow him. I've been following him for quite some time now, but he's a powerhouse.
Yeah, I had a really good conversation with them yesterday. I think there might be some alignment there, but regardless, so I'd like to bring some tech, maybe some those from the community, that if you guys want to talk to those people that are developing the blockchain website for me, I'm happy to. That's Boone Bergsma from Blockchain Labs. I interviewed him too at XRP Las Vegas. He long hair guy from just the US, and ultimately a really, really great human being. And I love the fact that this tech has fortunately been bringing good people in my life, and so like you guys, so I appreciate the opportunity to connect, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. And the next time I come back, we'll have an established website for you.
Oh man, beautiful. And listen, to leave right here, Mike Novogratz, he's, some of the things he says a lot, and people take for granted the teaching space in cryptocurrency. It's not about these, like you said earlier, like we're the drivers of the projects.
Mm-hmm.
Period.
Yeah.
We're the first guys in. We're keeping this thing afloat. But like you said, maybe it's the banks. I don't know, but I know a ton of guys are supporting in this game, right? And I'm sure the banks are in the background. So I would love to just start having the conversation with those type of individuals, where they could start just sponsoring or creating incubators, or just coming on and just giving high level conversation, where Champ and I could just kind of break it down and simplify some things.
Yeah, man.
There's a great marriage between common people and where they sit, because it's decentralized. So I mean, where are you going to emit the information?
Yeah. I have some ties to some various incubators. I think you'd enjoy some of those conversations. I'm actually going to be brushing elbows with one of them, or founder of one, Jimmy Valley. He's got an interesting projects or things that he's affiliated with. So yeah, I'll be interviewing him potentially next week, and some others. So yeah, stay tuned for some more quality content.
Guys, give Ray a follow. He dropped his stuff in there. We'll post all your socials
awesome.
Inside the Academy, and we're logging on tomorrow. We're tuning in.
Oh, tune in
about that bridge.
Roll up.
Sounds like a lot of liquidity about to pour it into something.
Yeah, exactly. All right, guys. Well, hey, I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I look forward to seeing you in the metaverse tomorrow.
Appreciate it.
My God. Hey, love you much. I appreciate you guys. Thank you for having me again. Appreciate Appreciate you too, Milton. Sorry to call you out when you're eating. It looked you're making me hungry, bro. Hey, Juanita, good to see you as well. Thanks for tuning. I'll see you guys.
All right, take care, Ray. Yes, man. So that was awesome, man. Always incredible energy with Ray, man. So we definitely appreciate him
Best.
coming on and rocking out.
The best.
That's my guy right there.
Yep.
So Steve, what's good, baby?
Listen, man. I was listening to the interview. It was good.
Yeah,
Ray's that guy, man.
yeah. He was going. I just kind of let him free flow. I had a
He
ton
just
of
need to
questions.
come on every Wednesday. I'm gonna be real honest with you. At least once a month with Ray Fuentes. This way he get to touch the people. You know, this is he's the perfect guy to, he's at the door and he doesn't not share information. So
Yeah.
Ray's always good in my book, man.
Absolutely.
Always. We support him. And I definitely want to support him more that he's a free agent, right? Because before it was like everything was moms and you guys got to edit this part of the video and don't put it up here. And take it off of YouTube. We didn't get clearance yet. Like that's the type of shit we were going through with Link 2.
Yeah.
We never shared that story.
Yeah. No, we didn't. So I mean, shoot, since it's on the call, we might as well let it fly.
The wild part about Link 2 guys is Champ was sitting on the information about them way before I met him. And I'm thinking I found something to bring back. He's like, oh, I knew about that. And he does this about everything. About everything. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Like Ripple is on here. We got a community. Like this guy here, man.
Yeah.
We could have been on to this thing like a year ago, 2 years ago.
For real. That was on me. Because I just assumed he knew because we've been in the space the same amount of time. So he has this thing he has to kind of sometimes pull information out of me. He asked me like a multitude of questions for me to say, oh yeah, I knew about XYZ. I've been in the space. I'm like a data hoard. So I see things and I know about things early as they're happening, but I didn't share. So that was on me. But Steve kind of materialized the first time that we were able to bring Blair and Ray onto the platform in a formal capacity for Link 2. So that's what you guys got in the Link 2 masterclass for private equity investing. And Steve quarterbacked that. Now, I've been following Ray for years. He was part of the XRP community. We were both on the XRP community posters. So it goes back, right? We knew of each other, but Steve was able to kind of connect that actual dot and made it materialize. Now, this is just a fortification of the existing relationship, building, continuing to keep relationships within the community, and you're able to get high-level conversations, people not gatekeeping, bringing real life stuff that can affect you and opportunities. Now you guys have the opportunity to get on tomorrow with the CEO of Spin the Bits, who's going to be utilizing one of the 1% projects. Come on, like, do y'all see what's going on here?
And the biggest project.
Crazy.
That's a big marriage right there.
Crazy.
Liquidity pouring in. Shit, I should have bought it 39 cents.
Man, absolutely.
I'm done with that asset though, man. I've been feeding that thing since like damn near since my son was born.
Crazy, right?
Like my second child.
And we had 60. It's retracing right now. I think it's people having a little bit of sell off, but still at 60, almost 62 cents right now in real time.
Yeah, I try to go buy some flare on Mexi. It's only on the future side.
Where can you grab flare?
I mean, it's right on Coinbase too. It ain't like,
yeah. And I would probably use it, but you just gotta, you're not doing real-time oracles. Sometimes with Coinbase, those spreads, they kind of fluctuate in between time of when you click the button to make the purchase and the actual purchase that settles. There's a change. You're actually buying from Coinbase. Coinbase has a large bag that they sell from, and you're not buying it with Oracle prices. The oracles tell you what each exchange has it for. So you may not always be getting it at that exact strike price.
right.
You're buying it from Coinbase, so they may add their extras to it. Plus,
of course they are.
Yeah. So it is good to kind of know what you're doing and where to gather things from, but it's on multiple exchanges, so you guys can find it. MEXC has it.
No, I just went on there. It's not on the spot.
Well, for real? That's wild.
It's only in futures.
That's wild, because I know they had Tether. Tether was the trading pair.
Yeah, no, man, shit, I'm right on here now. I'm not trying to do a futures buy on it, but
Damn, wow. Maybe they removed it. I wonder where MEXC is from, because maybe Mika has something to do with that.
I don't know, but that's annoying.
Yeah.
All right, guys, listen, August 8th, there's a auction, judicial tax sale auction that I'm doing here in Pennsylvania. So that's going to kick off this real estate talk. All right, look out for a members only meeting, members only, just for that. And I'm going to discuss what the play is going to be and what the opportunities are in it. So the bag, that's what everybody's looking for. Let's get to the bag.
Let's get to it.
Let's get to the bag.
How was the Detroit trip?
Oh, yes, I got back to Detroit, looked after some properties and looked at some new stuff. No, it was good. But back to what Ray was saying, what I thought I went there for wasn't what I got. So I came back with a lender, a real estate lender. They got big capital behind them, a lot of banks, a lot of private money, willing to give us just lines of credit, not so much deal specific, and they need to move money around. So sitting at dinner, just breaking bread with them. And the kicker, he sends me a text message after we leave dinner. His wife was at dinner with us. I flew with a friend of mine who's also a real estate investor in Philly. He came. So his wife is there, and we're talking. This is my shaman guy that I met out there. So we're talking holistic stuff and all the things. We're not even putting any business out there. And then he got into some system stuff, and that's when it kind of turned to business a little bit. So long story short, when we left dinner, he texted and he was like, would your company sponsor my wife's company? And the company, and let me get it here, so that way you guys could look it up. And I'm definitely bringing her on the platform to talk about this. This is major. So her company is called Demonis Charge. Okay. Mm-hmm. And they're basically a EV power company that's being manufactured, like their equipment and stuff, they manufacture it. So they're actually producing the stuff in Detroit, Michigan. That's where, and it makes sense being the auto capital of the world. So she's a Black female, she checks off all the boxes on that side, super sharp. And, she got invited to the White House to speak directly with Joe Biden, right? Because, they pushing that whole EV initiative. Her story was great because it put the jobs back into Detroit, so you could become an investor in the EV charging stations.
Nice.
Right. So now you have a relationship with the manufacturer. So that's another one that I want to bring to the table for you guys to serve. Because I've talked about the charging stations before in the form of real estate investing, buying land in neighborhoods where you can start putting these charging stations. I might have missed it.
Yeah,
I don't even remember the Doc Connected said, right? I kind of threw it out there. So I do have data and information on it. I just never really went down that road before. So having a good insider always helps. So, like I said, there is investment opportunities in those EV stations. I'm not big on jumping on the board like that, in the sense of me being in that world. So from a charging standpoint, that's one of the things I want to really pick her brain on is how much could really be generated from this.
Yeah.
And do we even have a grid that could even handle this shit?
Yeah. That's
right.
Yeah.
All this data farming and all the stuff that's happening on the digital side. And then you have, it's a lot of technology floating around us right now. Everything's robotic. Everything is, cameras everywhere. Like this data is everywhere. So data farms, warehouse space is getting to be big now in the real estate space because of data farming. solar people, people running stuff off of solar. There's a gentleman that created a water machine that he makes out of like air.
Mhm.
So I told Champ earlier, we made contact with him. They're looking for donations and stuff like that. He has a machine that just creates water. So this brother, he's black guy, he definitely needs protection, because I know of any story I've ever heard of people creating stuff like that, it's always, it's a no-go, already. So we are looking to interview him and bring him onto the platform too, so we could shed light on the genius of things that are happening out there. If we don't have representation, then we won't even know what's possible, because those guys built their systems for themselves. You understand? So we got to get it together, because if we don't, we're fucked divided. I'm just telling you that now. And I'm not talking about race, just talking about culture. You either do business the right way, or you just bugging out. I'm not getting into the nuances of good and bad, left and right. I get where I'm going. Don't be dumb. So I'm excited to get back into real estate again. Not realizing what I really needed to go there for popped up, because I didn't pin him for that conversation, because like I said, she's a shaman. But I knew he's a big real estate guy for 3 decades. This guy made a lot of money with a lot of verticals. So the conversation was thrown in our lap, like, yo, listen, we got it. So whatever you got. You understand? And you know my old lender before, he'd been acting kind of funny, not getting back. We were supposed to have a follow-up interview for a masterclass. So, the way the world works, we move on.
Yeah.
And this guy's a brother too, so that makes it even more rewarding. And I know him.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to that. But the auction is August 8th. So now this week, I'm actually going to go check out the properties. We're going to underwrite together the properties, and then we're going to put our heads together. And whoever wants to be involved, cool. Whoever doesn't, and you just want to watch, cool. Whoever's not interested, cool. All good. All love on my side.
Let's go.
All right. So that's going to kick off real estate, and then that's it. We starting to get back to work. Pump this account up real quick.
Go. Listen, these opportunities, man, they're incredible. Because I'm seeing what's going on out here in the world. I'm starting to tap in with even more people, just see what people are talking about, and what they're feeling. Even in my own household, my wife, she does all the shopping, you know what I mean? But literally for butter, she was making cakes for someone. And just the price of butter has like 3x'd. And she runs through a lot of butter when she makes, multiple cakes and things like that. And I'm just putting it into perspective, like, yo, it's happening in my household, so I know it's happening to everyone. A friend of mine in New York, for 6 items, it was just toilet paper, toilet tissue, etc., etc. It was 2 of each. Her screenshot was literally, I think, $200. When I sent it to Steve, Steve was like, "What?" And it's like, it's almost unbelievable that these prices have reached this. But Steve always told you guys there was a giveaway period that happened. That was during the that C period. I'm not gonna mention, I don't want this video to get flagged. But then there was the give back period, which is right now, when you have the rise of inflation, the higher cost of goods and services. You guys know what's happening, right? So this is not new news to you. But just to put it in perspective, it's happening. So when we bring these opportunities to you, we strongly encourage that you guys do not let these things go by the wayside. One, it took a lot of energy to put into these things, but 2, they are literally ways to help you guys plus up and supplement for what you're paying for out here.
Go back to the plan, the first plan. We're going to reboot that one again. We're going to do it over. It's the same information. We could literally put out the same thing, but I don't want to. I got, there's definitely different talking points now. But if you look at like my Glint Pay account, I went on it today. I'm up damn near 35% on gold. Mm-hmm. We gave that a year ago. Gold damn near going to be 2,500 very fast. Yeah, I got to just start connecting the dots on what's happening out here. The central banks are buying up gold at an all-time high right now. We're back to the gold standard, guys. If you have savings, you need to put it inside of an asset immediately. If you got 401k, pull that shit out. Pull it out. Hit up my man Andre, the insurance guy, another one that came onto the masterclass, included in your monthly membership, building wealth with insurance. You hit him up. He's already moved a couple of my big boys who just, they're in the financial world, but they just play the financial game. And it's like they just letting money sit around. I'm like, yo, you bugging. You don't trust the guys you work for. And you know the system. Hit up Andre, Seneca Village. He'll show you how to move that money without the penalties and things like that, and get cracking. What else?
Let's do it. We got
Time management.
time management.
I didn't go back to the post. Did anybody post their times? Not playing around. All right, keep playing around. We're gonna keep dropping value on this side, and those who partake in it. Those who don't get left behind. That stuff is valuable. What you don't want to do too is you don't want to start learning to manage money before when you get it. I'm telling you, don't act like you're gonna not cash out on something and have a splurge. So I would urge you guys to be smart. There's a DeFi market that's being built out as we speak. So there should be no liquidating of anything major. Not financial advice. Do what you please. But I'm just telling you, at a blink of an eye, a lot of things could change. Because institution money flowing in here way before. Just trust me. This little 2.39 is a joke. It's a joke. Y'all have no clue. And what you should be doing is focusing on kind of where your industry is going with artificial intelligence and automation and how you can be more valuable. That's what you should be trying to figure out. So in a couple of weeks, we have the AI hustle course coming out. Actually, it's going to be a masterclass. Talk your head off for a little bit. That's going to give you 30 industries and how you can add value and create and use AI tools to sell people in those industries that are going to be behind the curve. So we're going back to the days of teaching people how to use the internet. Remember how many people made money in sales? This is where we at.
Running it up.
People are not going to have time, and they're going to need to keep up with the times and the competition. So when restaurants had to advertise online, guess what? There was a whole industry of third-party people just selling. It's all data. So there's trillions of untapped money that's available for people who want to consult. And y'all on the first line. So don't be dumb. I'm even taking the courses. That's kind of why I'm tired of teaching y'all, because I have to learn.
Mm-hmm.
I got to go plus up my bag and then come back and make sure everybody's good. So if y'all ready to ride with me on this real estate, we up now. So it's go time. I'm going to be changing the lender. He'll come on and introduce himself. You'll see him twice though, because he's going to be on health and wellness for what I met him for, which was he's a shaman. Yeah, this guy's like, man, it's gonna be like having Terrence Howard on. Put it that way.
Shit.
Quantum physics and all the things. And then he's a capitalist too, so it's like, yo, let's get it.
I like to hear that.
Even the name of the lending company is wild. I'm like, I don't know, we might have to talk about that name, but that's another conversation. But I'm excited. Definitely, I've been in a slump since May, and not a bad thing. It's just I just had to sit down. Time to have fun again. Sitting in fear, right? I'm over here spreading the news. I got to sit in this shit too, and I got to process it the same way I'm like spitting it out. Should be having me nervous out here, man. That's all gas today was damn near $5. Is that what is that what happened?
Yeah. Shit
That's
going
what
up.
happened.
Yeah, shit going up too. Down here was for premium was I think 460 something that I just paid. I just had to fill up. I literally just had to fill up probably 2 days ago.
So Biden ain't trying to win the election. And be honest with you, they might even just squeeze us out of that oil shit.
It's possible. And
I can see that coming too, because they cut oil production, guys. So the price could only go up at this point.
Yep.
They're not even producing oil.
And then we was getting oil from Saudi and middle, quote unquote, Middle Eastern nations, but they all on bricks and they all moved away from US dollars. So
Why they do that?
Stop rocking with the US.
Yo, listen, I'll be honest. I caught an interview the other day and I got to go find it. And they talked about the US dollar. Bro, that money it's still in high demand. There's a lot of money still transacting in that shit. It's not as detrimental as people think.
Yeah.
And they're like, yo, even with what all they know, it's still going to take some time because the economies of these guys is on borrowed time. It's really about who's going to flip that switch first with implementing that technology.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Once you tokenize your entire economy, everything from ground to air rights and everything in between, it's ball game. It's fucking ball game.
My goodness.
You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about there's untapped liquidity out here in this world. If you look at all of Dubai, the tokenization of all that real estate out there, people here own without even ever stepping foot out there. They're fractionalizing everything in Dubai right now. See, those young prince, what they came with that shit. They're like, listen, we're not just gonna be known for oil. They started to diversify. They're big in the blockchain space. You know, they're big in the crypto space. And who's powering that M2 that they got over there, champ?
Ripple and Stellar.
Right. If you watch enough dot connects, you should be fine.
Got all the info
at this point.
Yep.
But yeah, I'm done with y'all.
Yeah, we out of here. We got work to chef up tomorrow. You know what I mean? So, bro, rest up.
Yo, listen, that portfolio management stuff, guys, and I'm not selling no more people on that shit, but the crew I got that we already went through, amazing.
Fire. Amazing.
Trust me when I tell you this. And we're coming up with different ideas and stuff that we're going to be putting out to the community too. So trust me, they're getting their money's worth and then some. They're coming with the right questions. It's sparking a lot of little changes that and nothing crazy, just nice updates for you guys. Mm-hmm. I know you're gonna find value in it.
Absolutely.
Because if they're not paying attention, then I know for a fact most of y'all not paying attention. Nobody's updating their cold storage wallets. Nobody's doing nothing. All right, I keep getting complacent. You gotta keep your head on the swivel. There's a lot of, as these assets start to get more valuable, the scams start to get more elaborate.
Mm-hmm.
They catch people all day. Man, I don't even do airdrops. Champ will tell you.
Yeah, he don't mess around. Yeah, he don't mess around straight up. He'd be like, nah, I'm cool.
I'm buying Flare now with all that XRP I had. I should have been had Flare. He was right there. He's like, all you gotta do is this. I'm like, I'm good.
Straight up. No cap. He's dead.
My shit locked up. I don't have it because shit, I almost lost it on Nexo.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. I gave a big bag of ETH to save XRP, and now XRP sitting here. I should have just stayed with ETH. From a money standpoint. For now,
crazy.
I would have been super up. Like, did all this to save this XRP.
Damn, yeah, and I ain't think about that too, because where it's at right now, we at what 3? What is ETH at right now? It's been 3K, right?
Bro, I had low buy-ins. I had low buy-ins. Yeah, they gonna run that up. That ETF is coming this probably August, and then Solana was already, they've got a few people apply for the Solana one.
Okay.
We can't get one.
Yeah, I mean, definitely we can get one. We're gonna let the players play though. Solana, Ethereum first, Solana next. After that, we should be
XRP.
playing for XRP in the baskets. Yep.
Yeah, mixed bag, big bags,
Yeah.
full exposure. Litecoin. What does Litecoin do again?
Yo, it's crazy because that joint been around for so long, and Litecoin was expected to do numbers.
Even Bitcoin Cash. Yeah, anybody find out? Start a thread. Tell me what they do. That's the homework. Yo, get on that time management shit, guys. That's important too. Don't ignore it. It don't take long.
Yeah.
Look, you don't even got time to do that.
A couple people did in the chat. They did respond. They said they're doing their week, and then they'll post their time management within it.
All right.
Completing their week. All right. So as long as y'all knew and y'all responded, we good.
And listen, by the next members call, I want that to be a topic point too. So come sharing. How's brain training, guys? Yeah, look at them. only two with cameras on. See, they brains is they got the smarts. They at the front of the class.
Sharika in there too. She took
Oh yeah,
a
she
little
she had her
pause
camera on earlier. Guys, there's something about brain training and cameras on. Look at all that confidence they got. Come on, tell me. What's happening?
Hold on. You want me to unmute somebody?
Yeah, Milton and Juanita, she wilding. My wife had me hurt. My wife going through it now.
I just asked to unmute you.
Like she's cooked. She's like, I'm off.
Listen, you be on that I haven't missed the class. I haven't missed the class. And do I notice the difference? Hell yeah. Don't I, Wayne? Huh?
You notice the difference.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Well worth it.
Definitely well worth it. Yeah. I don't even know how to tell you. At first, my brain was hurting. I'm telling you, my left brain hurt after the first hour because I'm doing both of her sessions.
Yeah.
I hurt after the first hour and a half, and then this side hurt after the second hour and a half. When he know, I'll be like, "Dang, my brain hurt, my brain." But we have a great time. I think we got a great synergy. We have a great time, and seeing marked improvement in all areas. So I'm happy, and I'm there, logged in. I'm locked and loaded.
I'm bringing you back on at the end. When you guys graduate, we're bringing you back on.
Graduate.
Case study.
Okay.
Milton, what you got, Milton?
I'm gonna have to change my name in here. That Milton shit sound garbage.
Okay.
My middle name, Wayne.
Wayne. All right. Wayne.
But nah, yeah, that brain training is dope. I like it. I even like the fact that she's also showing us some other things because she said she knows a lot of people got their kids at home with them during the summer. So I even got my daughter, like I got one of my daughters with me during the summer. So I got her with me and I got her playing some of the games too, and she's liking it. I'm liking what it's doing for me. And I just wish I had more bread to throw at it to get even more deeper into it. So yeah, I think I'm in the right space. I'm actually doing besides y'all, I'm doing the brain training and I'm actually in another parenting class. So between all three of those and the therapy I'm in, I think I'm setting myself up to be great. And I just can't wait till I'm there.
And now you right here, bro. I'm telling you right here. Everything we need, we got already. It's not overcomplicated, man. You show up every week, front and center. Well, you got a good spirit, man.
Definitely got to.
Got a good spirit. Just believe in
And
it.
I'm ready for tomorrow. Super amped tomorrow, actually.
That's what's up.
That in there.
He's got his portfolio management with us tomorrow.
Yes, sir.
All right, who else? One more.
Sharika, hold on.
Sharika just started that one.
Yeah, I just started. And
Wait. Before you go into that, what's up with that portfolio management?
Okay, so first off, I had to take the next day and just leave it alone. Like you guys went so deep, I'm like, oh my goodness, I just the next 10 years of my life just got service in like however long that call was. Like I took notes and I'm like, no, like my brain, like that was a brain training. That was a brain training in on itself, and I'm glad I took the notes.
Okay.
Yeah, it's no joke. Like there was just so many layers to it, and I'm so like we can't do this by ourselves, guys. We really can't. As much as like we get the information, we're in the academy. It's like anything else. Like if you were to buy a house, like there's so many processes that you go through of having people check it out. So why would we not have our portfolios checked out? Like if that's a body of work, why wouldn't we want to get that inspected and just prevent future mistakes from happening? So
yeah. Oh man, beautiful. All right, so you start, and right after our call, you went straight to brain training.
I had it before.
Oh, before.
I had it before.
Okay,
yeah.
okay.
So, yeah, she's amazing, and I like that she picks up little intricacies about how I work, because I do so much writing, and she's like, "You're actually auditory." So when things get difficult, I actually begin sounding things out, and I wasn't even made aware of that. So I always thought I was more written, and it's more audio, like a lot of voice recordings and things that I do. I use text to speech. So I'm looking at it like, oh, that's text. And it's like, no, I'm actually writing. And then like a little small thing, and this is just me growing up playing sports. Like if I make a mistake, I'm like, shoot. But then some of the games are so quick that for me to just like acknowledge the mistake and get all emotionally caught up in that, I actually miss that actual level of the game. So it's like keeping you focused, and that hurry, quick thing she does is not it's loving, but it's like torture at the same time. But I've had a couple moments where I'm like, I can remember more things than I usually can. And, I'm studying another language, and I definitely had a breakthrough moment of that where I was just able to link a whole bunch of things for a solid 20-minute period. And I know that's because I did this brain training. So
wow.
It's great. And it's not only just the time you get with her, you ask her, like I ask her questions about the brain all the time. Like I noticed sometimes when I'm looking in a particular direction, she's like, yeah, if you look in that direction, it's because you're visually processing. Like the way we use our eyes breaks down how we're using our brain, and she gives you things that you can use in your everyday life. So you're getting way more than that 2 hours. And for me, it actually goes by like it's not torturous, like it's not that at all.
Yeah, she's got great energy. So I was definitely looking forward to hearing that part, because I know your energy, and I'm like, they're gonna mix well. Yeah, no, she's amazing. So my wife is going through the process now, and then I'm next after. So she's had both our kids, and then the kids are actually doing kind of another program with her. So she does have a lot of like continuing education games to kind of sharpen the mind. So Milton, that's good that your daughter's getting some things thrown at it. If you haven't watched the masterclass, go ahead and watch it and at least get the assessment test. So can you imagine what that would have done for you in playing basketball and sports growing up? If that was one of the reasons what my son, that was one of the selling points was, the court vision, the long and short term memory, processing speed. Right. And it came back, and it was, then you start to give people grace, like, oh shit, you really didn't see that. Right. It's like, but it's, I get it now. So after seeing the scores, we knew what it was. This is why we were, putting the kids into certain activities, that we put them in drums to kind of catch the beat, and chess to see a little further out. But really, it really comes down to reading, guys. You got to get these kids to just read. And not audio books like some of us are doing, like reading. That's super important. So, after getting those test results, I knew, I was like, yo, no brainer, go, and then, my daughter, you find out she's really fucking around in school because she's a genius, but she's just bored with the shit they give her. She's knocking out, and you can talk to Nas about it. Like, hey, and tell her I said it. Say, what's up with Steve's daughter? How does she do? And then just see what feedback she gives. Like, I couldn't even help with the homework. That's how twisted it got me, and I had the answers. Right? I know what I'm talking about, right? I'm like, wait, I'm over here, I'm slowing down emotions, and I have the answers. This is like Fibonacci math, and I'm like, so I have to dedicate like more time to Nas. I don't want to do what I'm doing with my brain now to then go to her. I know I'm not ready to lock in, and I'm not trying to cancel anything that, I commit to. So I commend all three of you guys for going through with that. Everything has been like positive feedback, like above and beyond. I have younger kids in my family that took it, and they're like, I want Nas to be my school teacher. You know what I'm saying? These are kids that they said had behavioral problems, and they're geniuses. They're just bored in the wrong system. And instead of like identifying it, which they do, they just won't say anything because they don't fit that category. And it's fine. But when you don't have representation in those classrooms, this is what you get. You might not get seen. And that's just how the world revolves. I mean, when I go help out at the schools, I'm always looking out for my people. That's just it. You just need representation on all fronts. That's it. Yeah. Actually, you probably just need to definitely blow up the old system and just tell them to sit it out. Just give them the universal basic income. Like, y'all don't have to run nothing else ever again in this world.
Yeah.
So the United States is coming up on 250 years in 2026. So that's every single empire. That's about the time of expiration. So now you start to see like the changing of the guards. You got a president talking about like fucking sidestepping a central bank. Okay. Listen, either way, put them both in office. It doesn't matter. I'm just telling you, still gotta figure shit out for yourself. You know that they're not coming.
Put them both in office is diabolical.
Doesn't matter. Like figure it out.
Straight up.
Put that on TV. Let it run 24/7. Entertain yourself with the shit. Stop with the election divide, guys. Stop. Look at the agendas. Look at the fucking guys that are doing it. And that's the choices that we have. Or you want to go Robert Kennedy Jr. I don't care what y'all do. Whatever. Just figure out where we headed. Because it's not going to be a soft landing with these guys. They barely can get names right now. This is crazy. And it's just wild that they would even give us that representation, because I know none of them have any effect on what is going to happen anyway. So let's just make that clear. These ain't guys sitting with the story of the Santa Claus of, oh yeah, he's got the nuclear codes at his bedside. No, he doesn't. No, it doesn't work like that. So just the fact that they would give us those options is just wild to me. So for that, I'm out. I'll be honest with y'all. Good, bad, or indifferent. I don't care to vote at all in this country. So if that's a throwaway vote for Trump, then I'm cool with that too.
Yeah.
It's no problem. Crypto, let's go. I can deal with the race shit. The race shit is easy to me.
Because you know who you're dealing with.
Right. And I'm not one of those guys. So, my bloodline is from the revolt. The only, So, they could rewind and redo all the shit that they want to do. And y'all keep watching them doing this shit too. That's the wild part. That is the wild part. The power is in the Supreme Court. The power is in those judges. That's the part that they're controlling. So everything else doesn't matter. So y'all better be model citizens for the future, because they got some shit coming for you. All this technology, shit. When I saw the 13th, that's how I knew these guys are wild. So then he talked about, but we can close down all the jails. I'm like, oh, okay. They're working on that new stuff now. Yeah, you can stay out. You'll be within a square mile, but and guess what? Every citizen is going to be a member of that. That's going to be wild. I'm telling you guys, you're not going to be able to travel. You're not going to be able to move. So if you don't have the right digital assets, you're going to be stuck. You're going to be stuck. Yo, this is wild times, man. And I don't even know at this point now, I'm just like, we're at 250 years, guys, in 2026. The system's dying. You start hearing abolish the Federal Reserve and all these private entities and the central banks and things like that. Yo, that's a lot of power. That's a lot of power, man. Those guys ain't gonna go down fighting. You know, and this is what John F. Kennedy, he got assassinated for this. He was coming, that central bank was dead. That's what he was coming for. He was going to shift the course of this thing a long time ago. You know, and that's always kind of the conspiracy theory with Trump being involved with those guys being from New York. You understand? And possibly the son not actually dying in that crash. And then coming to rise to become president. This is the wild stuff on the QAnon side. But then you got to really ask yourself, you know what I'm saying? Like that entire family had political aspirations and they literally murdered a couple generations of them. And now you back now with RFK, you know, the old boy, the brother, and you hear him and I don't know if you guys heard the call with him and Trump, but Trump was on the phone with him the next day after being shot. And y'all heard the stuff they were talking about? And that's the other Kennedy. That's his son that actually put the video out. And he was like, yo, I don't care if I go to jail. He was like, just put me in the same cell as Fauci for recording, for getting that recording and putting it out. Go listen to that recording. Go Google RFK phone call with Trump and listen to how Trump's talking to him. Yo, it's only a matter of time before y'all realize that we got to be on the united front. It's not that many of those guys. So I'm just telling you, it's like, yo, if you could size up the central bank, you really have, and the federal system, monetary system, you in control of your own situation at that point now. Yeah, I'm looking at these other countries to look to move to, and it's like you buy your house, you own your house, you own your land, you don't have to pay any taxes. You know, you live in here in America, and it's like every year the taxes are going up, so you'll never ever truthfully, rightfully own any piece of land in America if you're not positioned correctly on paperwork. So that's the type of stuff we sitting back here dissecting, trying to figure out how to bring that information back to the community. You know, for people who are really ready to like just because they're wilding right now. It'd be one thing if they were just leaving us alone, but it's starting to bother me because it feels personal now. They in my health records. They're knocking on doors. They're giving out hamburgers for shit. They have strippers at the polls. Come on, man. I'm not involved with something like that. Because if it wasn't the elections and they ain't sell you on your ancestors and all that, no, not descendant of slave anyway. So I don't know what y'all talking about with that one. Like we just taking these stories that these guys are telling us, and none of it is true. None of it is true. Just the way they paint us victim today, with all the information we have, they can't even hide it anymore. So I can only imagine what they did with the history books. It started at Cotton. Shit ain't powerful, man. People talking about, oh, they're getting rid of DEI. Why are you worried about this system that is not made for us? Just teach the DEI. That's it. We're talking about you're looking for federal funding. You're going to be told what to do, but just supplement the education and just give it to the children. That's it. You don't want white kids to feel bad. What's that lady? The judge lady? Or Clarence Thomas? What was her name? She was the first Me Too. Anybody? Champ. You remember that lady? Black lady in politics. Anybody in the chat? Juanita. Was it Juanita Hill? Something like that, right? Yeah, she had a statement on the DEI, and she's just like, yeah, you don't really want to have like white kids feeling bad about, like, what are you talking about? Like, we had to deal with this shit every generation after generation, and you worried about some white kids like feeling bad? come on, man. This country will never change if they don't take accountability for that stuff, man.
Mm.
It'll just always be what it is. That's why I'm like, yo, I'm just out, man. Just gonna figure it out and just play around the world, man.
Yeah.
This culture is horrible. Like horrible. Yeah, I just saw in California, they're not even arresting pedophiles. They're not even taking those cases now.
What?
Horrible. And Gavin Newman, if this whatever his name is, that's the guy that they're talking about could be president. And you worried about Trump? I could deal with the racists, man.
Yeah,
Trust
Gavin
me, those
Newsom.
guys are easy to deal with.
Yeah, Gavin
You
Newsom.
just don't fuck with them. That's it. You just don't fuck with them. That's it. You don't mess with them. You don't let them teach your kids. You don't eat from them. And then what does it do? It drives you back to people who look like you, who operate like you. Come on, man. That well is dirty, man. Stop drinking from that shit. I'm on hydrogen water at this point, so I don't. So when I was looking at real estate development, because my thing is, I want to do something different, right? So I started noticing they're doing these homestead communities now, and that's big. So every house, they're pretty close to each other, and everybody has a garden, and you got a central one, and it's in essence homestead. So it's like living off land, community, and shit with the cost of food right now. Oof. Like I'm having a good go at my garden right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fruitful.
You got the watermelons over there?
They're in the ground already, so I got probably like a couple more months.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they're in. I got greens, collards. Shit, it rained and it just rain is special water, and I've been noticing that a lot when you start to get into farming and your plants and all things. You start to realize how you love when it rains, because it's just like there's nothing, you could water it all you want. I'm gonna start trapping rainwater now too. Because you start spraying that water from the house, even though we have a house system, it doesn't, something about that rainwater. They stand right up.
Mm-hmm.
So definitely gonna start trapping rainwater. Yeah, the watermelons are in. I got a ton of sweet potatoes in.
Oh.
Strawberries light this year, spinach and everything. I'm getting everything ready for fall now. So those are your fall crops. Yeah, your greens, a ton of spinach.
Oh.
All the greens. So that's about to come. And the crazy part is my spinach just came back. I didn't know much about it the first year. I'm like, oh man, snow sitting on this shit, all types of stuff. I didn't even get to harvest it, and I didn't get a good harvest from it at all. And then when spring came around, oh my goodness, because it was still those cold days. I'm telling you, for the price you pay in the stores, this shit getting fun.
Yeah.
There are just some basic things that you don't need to go to the store for, like rosemary, thyme. They're giving you like 2 sticks for like one. I probably got $1,000 worth of thyme and rosemary. And actually, my shit's organic, so it's probably like 3,000.
Yeah.
So I see where I be at, man. When you got to find a release, man, and that's been a big one for me. That's been a big one for me. So you pop your head out that digital space once in a while, man. That black hole could have you twisted.
Yeah.
So I'm not I'm just glad I can control it, and I'm not a slave to it. So farming is definitely something I want to incorporate within my building, some way, somehow. So when I got back to Detroit, my guy, Detroit Pepper, he has a 2-acre farm in the back. Remember the little Detroit Pepper spot we went to?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. So he's got the land behind his spot. It's like long, and it's 2 acres. So he's building like a little sound stage. He's gonna have like comedians and under the tea light type shit pavilion.
That's gonna be fire.
Back there. Yeah. So that's cool. I got this whole little community of people in a whole nother state that I don't know. I mean, like they're family now at this point.
Yeah.
But crazy, I was in that place not knowing anybody, like cold, dark nights, walking inside of abandoned buildings, and in probably the worst neighborhoods in America. Yeah, that's kind of been the story of my life with Detroit. So it's just giving me love. I've never had no incidents, and it's all love.
Yeah.
And I walk in big energy too. So I'm just, how you doing today? Yeah, I mean, so I'm lifting spirits out in them areas, man. And that shit look dark in the hood. I'm not even gonna front, because where I live, it's not that at all. So, and Philly has its own little thing, but I don't really drive through that. But to see it in Detroit is wild.
Yeah.
You know, liquor store after liquor store after liquor store, and then church after church after church. Oh my golly, man. These guys still open? Nah, I'm being honest. Like, so a lot of the Burger Kings, a lot of the fast food restaurants are closing down. That's the micro, that's where you could kind of see what's happening in America.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of theft out there. So it's going through its challenges. And, they say when America's sick, Detroit has the flu. So this is where we at. You grow your salad, your lettuce, yeah, cucumbers, all that. Every day. Oh, that's what you be doing? All right, I'm coming over, man.
Nate said we need to course on that farming too.
Listen, whatever I'm doing with that farming is definitely something that I'm not super going too deep in researching with, but I resonate with. You know what I mean? My intention is not even to really eat at this point. It's great to eat, but I'm saying my intention is more so is just to connect with nature. And the more I get out there, the more I find something to fuck around with. That's it. I just be fucking around. But what I do like about being outside is those birds. Those birds, I swear to God, they're talking to you. If you can tap into whatever they're saying, they're probably telling you lottery picks, all types of shit. And I'm this close to figuring out what they're saying. Because the squirrels, I rock with those guys, but they don't be having too much information. But what squirrels will bring you is change. A little quarter, a nickel here and there. They'll bring change, but I got to send them off they're not giving me no crypto advice, nothing.
Yeah.
But I know them birds, they know, because they be everywhere. They got Vantage up high. They got information.
Yeah.
And it might sound crazy, but I'm just telling you, like, when I'm out there, I don't even listen to frequencies anymore. That's how loud it is in the mornings.
Mm-hmm.
And I promise you, just do that. Wake up tomorrow morning, let's say about 5:30, and just go outside and then just listen.
Everything is alive.
Nobody's driving in the neighborhood. No, that's why I'm glad I live where I live, where it's just kind of peaceful. I mean, there's a lot of traffic up here, but overall, it's like, I'm telling you, go outside early in the morning and just listen. Before everybody starts to get moving, before shit starts stirring, them boys out there sending messages. That's the original frequencies. Just get outside, take your shoes off, stick that shit in the grass. Trust me, get that first sun that hits, that's it right there. That's the key. Drink water and mind your fucking business. I'm out.
Let's
Don't
go.
be.
And on that note, that concludes Doc Connect Wednesdays, episode 58. We out. All right, peace. Wayne, Dwayne, we'll see you guys in the morning. We got y'all rocking with y'all portfolio management. Let's go, let's go, let's go. One love, y'all. Peace.